Are we live?
Yes.
Oh, oh, yeah. I just appreciate the heads up.
Yeah, we're live. So I still
Hello,
can't see
everyone.
the
We're back.
image. So wah, wah.
The issue was a cable. He has replaced it with a gold-plated monodirectional audio quest cable, and it has improved his sound quality.
Yeah.
Yep, very true.
Yeah. Okay. So uh, thanks for bearing with us on that. We'll try ping.gg next time. Um, with the hopes that
Do
it
you guys
will.
see the reaction?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Wait, does it do that if I do it, or is... Oh no, that's because you have an iPhone, right?
I'm on Mac, which I think is probably,
Oh,
yeah, I
it's part of your webcam thing.
think so, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So for anybody left, which is now even fewer people, um, we're gonna get going here with the stream. We're gonna talk about
Yeah,
some
I'm just gonna
things.
send a ping.
As I was saying earlier, Blaine and I are currently suffering from a bit of COVID, so we are a bit low energy from today's stream. Um, I am also back from vacation. Um, don't go on vacation. That's my advice for people. Vacation is bad for you. I
Yes.
got food poisoning day one, and then on the day I was supposed to fly out, I got COVID. So then I was too sick to fly, and then got stuck in a hotel in a dodgy part of Bogota for about 5 days. So there's that. I'm very happy to be back. Very happy to be home and no longer traveling. Yeah, and I think that the moral of that story is that I shouldn't travel ever. Um,
To be fair, we had learned this lesson already. It
yeah.
seems you were the only one that didn't learn
Well, no,
this
I
lesson
mean, like
because
I
you
was
went on a trip.
also like, it wasn't my choice, right? Like this was,
I
I
know.
was going to a friend's wedding, actually my partner's friend's wedding. Um, but and actually, to be fair, I had a good time at the thing, right? It was fun to see people and all that stuff. But the rest of it, no, I would not have chosen that. I don't do well in hot climate countries, but it's just as hot here right now. Maybe not just as hot, but it's still bloody hot. So I did not
Mm.
come back to nice weather. I came back to heat and heat stroke. Okay,
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about first the Oracle Mark III from Thieaudio, if it'll focus. This
Pretty.
is, yeah, it's quite nice looking. These
Yeah.
are courtesy of Linsol. Big thanks to Linsol for sending it in. Um, they do come with this cable here.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
actually, I haven't seen the cable.
and the cable, it
Mhm.
is their, pardon me, modular system.
Modular, yeah.
Yep. Which I'm struggling to take off right now, but it's modular with different little tips and ends that you can add on.
Andrew, they want your volume to be raised a
They want
little
my volume to
bit.
raise. It might just be because I'm talking quietly, but
Could be.
how about now? Is this better?
Seems a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm a quiet talker today. I apologize. Um, but okay, so Oracle Mark III, of course, for those who don't know about the other two, the original Oracle was a fantastic IEM that still is one that I recommend today. It's still one that given the whole, old meta versus new meta thing, the Oracle Mark One is an older IEM that, while I wouldn't say strictly adheres to the new meta concept that fills in the lower mids and stuff like that, it's very much closer to that than many other IEMs of the time and also in more recent years. So it is one that, again, like it would be somewhat incorrect. What are you yelling about, Blaine?
Nothing.
It would be somewhat
What
in
did you say?
Go
okay.
on.
It would be incorrect to say that new meta is to do with new IEMs, because we've seen this in a number of examples where the older stuff is being now, I think, more appropriately recognized for its goodness, and the Thieaudio Oracle Mark One is one of them. And the
Yeah.
Mark II has then came out not that long ago, actually, and was just significantly brighter. It was I won't say like in the grand scheme of things a bad IEM. It just wasn't an upgrade over the Mark 1. It was just a lot brighter, as we'll see in the measurements that I'll pull up here shortly. And now we have the Mark 3, which in some respects is a little bit of a return to form from the old one, a little closer to the Mark 1 in some respects, but I'm also going to say it's not better than the Mark 1. I'd still say the Mark 1 is the best of the three. So let me open up the graphs here, if I can. So, and I apologize here. Let me see if I can. This is going to be, for those who are unfamiliar, this is the preference bounds, and we're using here. This is measured on the 5 and 2/8, and this is calibrated. I'm not sure if I'm going to show you guys the raw with this visualization because I want to show you guys the comparison. But this is Mark 3. So the thing that stands out to me is that it does still have the dip right at around 400 to, well, it's in the mids, basically a mid-range dip, centered maybe around 500 hertz. The other thing though about it is that it does not have. It has actually a considerably relaxed ear gain. And one thing I do want to highlight that I think it actually does reasonably well is it actually shifts the ear gain a bit lower down in frequency, closer to what we would maybe assume or guess would be the human canal transfer function. So the peak that shows up normally around 3 kilohertz for humans, maybe we'd say that's typically closer to around 2.8 kilohertz. And on the Oracle Mark III, it is also closer to 2.8 kilohertz shift, at least in comparison to the Mark I and the others. And then you do still get the issue that I have with this IEM, which is the lower treble, it's just treble. Lower treble, as we might define it, would be a little bit lower down. But somewhere in the treble here between 5 and 7 kilohertz, there's a pronounced section there in elevation. And I don't like this part of it. This makes it sound a bit sort of splashy and zingy. It's not that bad, though, because it is also a little bit masked by the increased presence above it from the upper treble. But for me, this is kind of what stands out, the sort of lower treble stuff. One thing I do find to be the case, though, is that this does impart that extra sort of spaciousness character to it. So while there's a bit of kind of, we might call it like a hardness to it in the treble, there is also an enhanced sense of space and distance to the presentation. At least that's how I hear it. To compare it with the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, this is Mark II, and you can see that Mark II is just considerably brighter for much of the treble, and that was kind of just too much for me, right? Like the upper treble stuff here, I wouldn't worry too much about it because it's typically above, the range where, most human hearing kind of tapers off a bit, so it's not that egregious.
I also want to point out to everyone that the Mark II here was measured on
yes, thank you.
RA0402 coupler, so it's 711. It is a slightly different system. We use a compensation to make them more comparable. If anyone wants more details on that, we have a forum post all about that.
Yeah, so these are different rigs, but we've done a lot of work to try and make them as comparable as possible. I don't have 5128 data for Mark II, so take basically all the low frequency stuff with a grain of salt. That's been compensated to account for some of the differences among rigs. The main issue with that one was that the treble, for most of the treble, is just a bit too much for me there. Again, not a bad IEM, just one that is a bit on the zingy side for the Mark II. And then let me just compare with the Mark I here. And the Mark I, I'm going to change the color. Does that help? Maybe not. There we go. So the Mark I, I find, again, is still the best of the three. It has, in my view, a little bit more of an even response throughout. It still is a bit forward here. It shows around 5-6K, but I don't find it as lean sounding in the mids. So I think that kind of like makes up for a lot of it. Let me just pop over to the raw graphs here. This is sort of what I was talking about between Mark II and Mark 1. Maybe this is not quite... it's normalized pretty close. These are both on 5 and 2.8, by the way. But Mark 1 does have the ear gain focused a bit closer to, 3 to 4 kilohertz, where Mark II centers it a bit closer to where I think the ear gain would probably be more appropriate for most humans, closer to maybe 2.8 kilohertz. It says here 2.6, but yeah, 2.8 roughly. So that's one good thing about it. But overall, I would still say that the Mark 1 is the better sounding one. It's the more even sounding one of the bunch. And that's for its entire sort of wideband balance. It does look here like there's a bit more bass on the Mark II, but not... I mean, it's changing the normalization.
Yeah, it's because
here.
the normalization is shifting downward for the orange trace when you go to raw.
Exactly. So let me just pop that up a bit. It's kind of closer to like that, right?
Well, I can't see it
That's
quite
gonna take
yet.
a second.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks better.
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, I would say overall, if you take kind of like the wideband balance into consideration, the Mark 1 is the one that is still the most sort of complete sounding. But again, the Mark 3 does enhance that sense of spaciousness, I find. For the other sort of intangibles, I don't find there to be any meaningful difference other than the overall smoothness is just better on the Mark 1. So yeah, that's basically my comparison of the three. But I think a lot of folks are going to wonder, like how does the Mark III here compare to the High Senior Megafest? And it's just, in my view, it's not as good as the Megafest. The Megafest is still like a more sort of natural, smoother presentation throughout. The thing that I wanted to mention though, with all of these, particularly with the Mark III here, is that while it has the leaner kind of scooped out mid-range section there a little bit, it doesn't have that sort of like shrillness that you get from Harman IE. Like it doesn't have any of that. It's actually, again, because the ear gain is a bit more on the relaxed side. I hear it as being actually pretty good for its overall mid-range balance. Like, yes, it is leaner than what you might find with like the Megafest and the DaVinci and some of the other ones like the Dusk default DSP. But it's not like this is a overly lean or shrill sounding presentation to the mids and the lower treble. I would not say that at all. So it is definitely palatable and versatile for much of it. I'm just a bit picky about this sort of lower treble, it would have maybe traditionally been called lower treble as Rube defines it, but treble presentation at around 6 kilohertz. That's really the main criticism that I have of this. I think for the rest of the response, it's palatable. But I think Griffin probably would not like the the leanness there in the mids, or not as mid forward as maybe he might like. But this one is priced. Let's see where it's priced at. It's around the Megafest.
I think it's like $589 or something like that.
It's around the Megafest price. So
yeah, I mean, we have the search function on there. If you just want to pull up Mega 5 really quick,
yes,
it should be a lot easier.
I will in just a second here. $589 USD.
That was right on the money.
You were right on the money. Look at that. And this does have it's a tribrid, I believe, for the driver configuration.
I feel like this lineup is usually tribrid, yeah.
Yeah. Let me just see if they don't tell me exactly.
Yeah, they call it a tribrid.
Oh, they do.
But they
okay.
don't...
Yeah. So dynamic driver for the bass. I'm assuming this is the isobaric config that they typically use. And then and then BAs for the mids, and then 2 Sonyan EST tweeters.
There you go.
So there you go. Driver story, fun. Okay, let me just pull up the the Megafest here. High Senior.
To Jim here, personally haven't found an IEM with timbre I thought was good. I feel like they usually sound kind of small. I don't know, something about... I've gone through 3 or 4 different pairs will have to wait for CanJam. So I had much the same issue back when old meta was all we had. If you've not tried EQing your IEMs to some of the newer targets, I highly recommend it, because that did kind of solve the smallness issue for me pretty handily.
Sorry, the smallness issue?
Yeah, I don't know if there's another way to say it. Like, I feel like specifically like the 1500 hertz bump really makes music sound like smaller. Like, it makes kick drums sound way
Oh,
smaller than they
okay.
should be. Like, kind of like they're coming out of a smaller speaker or
Hmm.
something.
Okay. I have not noticed that personally.
Yeah.
Does this look right to you?
The comparison?
Yeah.
I mean, I would normalize the Mega 5 higher,
You want it
but
higher? Yeah. That makes sense because it is a bit bassier. That's maybe too much.
I would say that's about right.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, it's not that different, but the MegaFest is definitely a bit more on the. It balances out that mid range a bit better, I think. And then the treble is this is with the 3.9 millimeter narrow tips.
Mm-hmm.
The other tips are not as good measuring on this system, but again, this is where like personal ear,
Yeah, it depends
variation.
what measures well means to you on
Yeah,
the
exactly.
system.
Yeah.
Like to me, that small 10K bump, like, would be measuring not so well for me.
Yeah. Did you use the coffee tips on the MegaFest?
When I had MegaFest, that was before coffee tips were
Oh,
even
okay.
a thing.
Because
I
I did
just
not
used the
like the coffee
narrow
tips on
tips
MegaFest.
or SpinFit
Okay.
CP100 Plus, which also has a kind of narrow tip to it.
Yeah. So with the narrow tips, the MegaFest, I still think is a smooth treble presentation. I like this kind of like smooth rise into the treble without too much kind of weirdness. And I hear it that way too with those 3.9 millimeter tips. With the other tips, it just was not as good. But so that's that comparison. I don't know, what else should we compare this to? Hype 4 maybe. I think that folks are interested in that. And that's actually one where I think I would just straight up choose the Hype 4 over the Oracle Mark 3.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's, again, I actually think the Oracle Mark 3 is a competent, reasonable IEM. It's decent for much of it, but I would definitely take the Hype 4 over it.
Got it.
Yeah. But again, like, not that far off. Like, they're not that different. It's just that for whatever reason as well, like the this kind of lower treble bit on the Hype 4, I don't mind it as much. Like, I would, like, judging it from the graph, I feel I would, but maybe you heard it this way too, listener. But that like 4.5 kilohertz or 5. Wait, what is it? Like, yeah, 5 kilohertz stuff is not nearly as noticeable to me as the 6.1 kilohertz stuff on the Oracle Mark 3 is. I
mean, for me
immediately
the
noticed it. So
for me the Hype's treble was, like, overall very, very boosted, but very even. So, like, I didn't get any sense of, like, peakiness or dippiness, or nothing really sounded like it was doing that. It was
yeah,
more so that it was just very overall bright to me.
but this would
So
also, I mean, if this is sitting a bit further in your ear, then maybe this feature's kind of going down a bit.
could be.
But I would agree. Like, it's funny, right? Like, for whatever reason, the Hype 4, I notice the upper treble boost more than I do on the Oracle Mark 3, right? The Oracle Mark 3, I don't notice the upper treble zing at all. Or like,
Yeah,
it's like
I can see it.
it's present, but it's not like, it's not like it looks on the graph here as bad. And it might just be because of its, relative presence to, the rest of the treble there with that sort of elevated 6 kilohertz stuff. And that's really what comes forward for me as being, the sort of punishing part of the sound. I did actually create an EQ profile for this, and it's basically reducing this range here and filling in a couple of the other spots. But it's not like it was difficult to EQ. It didn't take much. As soon as I did it, it immediately sounded better. But that's, I suppose, it goes without saying. All right, I'm just gonna swap over to the camera, to the main thing again here. Oh, everyone is blank. There we go. Hello, we're all back.
What's up?
So, overall, I have to state again, like, this is a decent, competent IEM. That's only real drawback in my mind is that it's just not better than the Mark 1. It's better at like one thing, which I think maybe this also depends a bit on the person, right? Like where that main part of the ear gain is, that may shift around a bit. But like for this one, it is, I think, in a little bit more of an appropriate spot. But for the rest of the balance, it's just not better than the Mark 1. So that's how I'm going to classify it. So very good IEM. Again, more focused a little bit to the newer style of tuning with not as much ear gain, which I think is a good thing, just not better than the Mark 1. So I would rank them Mark 1, Mark 3, Mark 2, like that. Do we have any questions from the chat on the Oracle Mark 3? Should we take questions from the chat on the Oracle Mark 3?
I mean, if they're interested or want any specific comparisons, maybe. Doesn't
Someone
seem
says
like
they
any.
can't hear me. Can you guys hear me okay?
We hear you fine.
Okay.
However, we aren't listening to the stream.
Yes.
So we don't actually know about our relative levels.
Yes. Blaine, you sound quiet.
2B asks, where would you rank Mega 5 EST? You don't really have a formal
you're
ranking
super
system,
quiet
do
on
you?
the stream.
Who, me?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I am just talking quietly, so there's also that.
That's better.
How would I rank the
Mega 5? You don't have a ranking system, do you?
No. Ranking systems are dumb. I might create a ranking system at some point.
Ranking systems are dumb. You know, maybe I'll do that at some point.
Yeah. All right. Actually, how's this? Am I louder now? I should be louder now. I don't want to be.
You're perfectly audible to me.
Okay. Let me know, guys. I'm watching chat for this, so let me know if it's clipping or if it's too abrasive. I don't want too much of the dulcet tones of my voice coming through. I would rank Mega 5 as being one of the most palatable sound signatures in IEMs, period. But I do agree with I'm not sure if this was Kryn who said it, but somebody was talking about how like it's not the most quote unquote technical sound.
I mean, I think everyone has said that.
Yeah, everyone. I think DMS didn't say that, but apart from that, and you didn't say that either.
I definitely said that.
Did you? Okay. But
yeah, yes.
Oh, did you? Okay, so you noticed it too. So like, yes. I would agree with basically all of those statements that the MegaFest is one of the best tuned IEMs, period. Just not as technical. And for whatever reason that is, I actually think that the Dusk default DSP is the best version of that sound so far, followed by the MegaFest. So for people who don't want to use the stupid DSP cable, the MegaFest would be the obvious choice. I think the only other issue that I have with the MegaFest, and it really is the only issue that I personally have with it, is the fit. It's the nozzle is a bit on the chonky side for me, and I find the fit is a bit of a challenge with that one. It's weird because it's like there are other IEMs, like even the Oracle Mark III has a chunky nozzle too, right? So like look at that. It's kind of
like most tribrids are gonna have pretty chunky nozzles. They gotta fit like 3 tubes.
And the crazy thing is that like the MegaFest is not meaningfully chunkier than the Oracle Mark III. I don't have a problem with the fit on the Oracle Mark III, but I do have an issue with the fit on the MegaFest. So really, I mean, this is going to be different for every person, right? Like everybody's ear canal entrance is going to be a bit different. So I would say if you're okay with a larger nozzle, the MegaFest is probably the easiest recommendation for an IEM because it is just so palatable for its tuning. But I think as a product, I actually prefer the Dusk default or the Dusk because I think it does just a slightly better job of that overall tuning because the bass is not as high on the Dusk for the Dusk default DSP, and it also handles. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Griffin, but does it not handle the mid range a little bit better?
What?
The Dusk over the MegaFest.
I would say that's true.
Yeah, the dust default DSP just a little bit better in the mids. But for the rest of it, there's really nothing to complain about with the MegaFest. Okay, so that's the Oracle stuff out of the way. Any other questions on the Oracle before we can move into the next topic?
Before we move on.
Someone was asking when the MegaFest will come out. Well, I mean, it's the Mega 5
how does Oracle Mark III compare against Monarch Mark II and Monarch Mark III?
Oh,
Andrew, you heard the Monarchs.
Yeah, Monarch Mark III is not my jam as much as Monarch Mark II. I like Monarch Mark II. There's a bit of an issue in the treble for me with Monarch Mark II, but I would say Monarch Mark II over both the Oracle and the Mark III, personally. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think that the more interesting comparison is between the Oracle Mark I and the Monarch Mark II, right? I would probably take both of those. But what's that?
In which you would take the Oracle?
That's a tough question. I didn't actually do that direct comparison. But, in my head right now, like, again, auditory memory and all this, right? I'd probably choose the Oracle Mark I or the Monarch Mark II over any of the rest of these, right?
Sure.
I would choose the dust default DSP over all of them, and same with the MegaFest, right? But definitely Monarch Mark II is a good IEM that I enjoy quite a bit.
Okay.
What are your guys' opinion on elevated 10 to 15 kilohertz? I'm okay with it if it's tasteful and wideband. Griffin hates any and all 10 kilohertz, but actually we discovered a reason for this. Well, potentially, when doing blocked canal measurements, where for me, my ear seems to kill 10 kilohertz or like significantly reduce it, even in comparison to the
like your outer ear effects.
Seemingly, right? Even in comparison, because I compared it against the 5 2/8 blocked canal data, right? And even so, at least for me compared to that one, and then I think also with the Graz, because I was doing that too. There's less energy. My ear kills 10 kilohertz more. So I don't have as much of an issue there, certainly compared to Griffin. But potentially even more than I don't have as much of an issue with that as even the Graz, for example, right? As we've seen with the high-res DFHRTF stuff there.
So actually,
I don't have a huge issue with it myself. Like, rarely do I say, "Oh, this headphone is intolerable because of its high treble."
Yeah.
Much more
I say that all the
mid or
time.
low. Yes, that is basically the only thing you say.
Blaine, you're a bit quiet. You want to turn yourself up?
Turning myself up.
There you go. Thanks.
Need to juice the economist.
Yes.
Speaking of the high res DFHRTF, I feel like that's kind of what makes the decision for me on this stuff, because like obviously I wouldn't use that HRTF against like IEMs because that's not my head. But if I were to use an ideal HRTF for IEMs, it probably would include a very large dip around 10-11K.
Saying the bald guy's too quiet. So that's probably me.
That's not me.
Yeah. I mean, I can turn myself up more.
Yeah.
If the people
or I can turn down.
The thing is, I don't know where everybody else in the chat is in the stream. So that's always the problem.
I think you might want to turn yourself up a little bit.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
The balding guy. My hair is extremely full.
I don't think nobody here is balding. I am bald.
It's extremely a pain in the ass to cut my hair because it's so thick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have Mr. New Haircut, and then we also have Budget Justin Trudeau over here.
Mr. It's fucking 37 degrees here, so I have to not have long hair.
This is fair. Okay. So, oh, I'm the loudest now. Great.
Nice.
Cool.
I don't know if that's ideal, but
I mean, that gives you the stage, though. That gives you authority.
Andrew, did you hear the Pilgrim?
No, I never got the Pilgrim in. I was chatting with the folks from Elysian and Effect, I think, and they were originally planning on sending over the Noir, Pilgrim Noir, and then I said, sure, we'll check it out. At the we might do a live stream on it, but then nothing ever materialized past that. I haven't heard from them since, so I don't have it. Haven't heard it. I know FC Construct has reviewed the Pilgrim, so he is the only one. If you're looking for our takes on that, he's the only one of us who has that, I believe.
Blaine, I was already laughing about it in in the YouTube chat, and then you put it in.
Oh yeah, server. No, I'm sharing that everywhere. That's your new nickname.
Bustin' Trudeau.
Yep.
Is the Impact 2 system something you'd notice on you noticed on the Oracle Mark III? I mean, they can call it whatever. They can call it, big slam in the pants system, whatever, right? Like they could call it that, and it wouldn't matter. It's like the name of it is irrelevant.
But did you notice it? Did
I notice a big slam in the pants? No, it has a little bit more bass than the Oracle Mark 1. I have the Oracle Mark 1 like right over there, so like I did compare. But I do find it to have more bass. I don't, as far as do you have your Headphone Show bingo card ready? As far as the qualia is concerned, I don't.
Oh, yeah, let me check that off. Okay.
I don't hear any sort of
Wait, you didn't post the link so other people can play bingo also.
I didn't even know there was a link, so.
Should I?
There's well, I don't know.
We should. We need
I did make Headphone Show bingo.
So there you go. Risky click.
Yeah, that is kind of a dubious link, but I promise it's legit.
Oh, it's
yeah. I think we've made fun of Griffin, so I can X that off.
Yep. Qualia.
Yeah. Qualia. We definitely did 5128. We did diffuse field, 711 couplers.
Yeah.
Did we talk about IEM's bad yet? We'll get there.
Did we talk about diffuse field yet?
We did.
Okay.
Or I did in chat.
Okay. Stream audio breaks. Definitely got that.
Hell yeah.
Making fun of Griffin. Yeah.
Definitely.
We haven't made fun of Blaine yet.
That's not on the. Oh, it is
there. Yeah.
Yep.
Headphones.com mentioned we haven't done that yet. So guys, this wonderful stream is made possible by Headphones.com, which is the best place to research, learn, and buy headphones. So check out Headphones.com. Okay, now I can take this one off.
See, this is what it takes to get him to actually list the people who pay us. Is to put it on the fucking bingo card.
Yeah, it's the sponsor call out.
Yeah, no restocking fees anymore. We're trying a new experiment where we have removed restocking fees. Please don't abuse it, or we will ban you. Well, I mean, yeah, it had to be canned before because there were a few people abusing it, and now the policy is just to be a bit more proactive with them and be a bit more permissive with everyone else, which I think is good.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
All right, I think that's our bingo card.
Okay.
Now, let's move on to head-related Justin Trudeau. Let's move on to the topic of today's stream. Actually, first, before we do that, Griffin, did you want to give your impressions of some things? Right, you said you'd heard some new things.
Yes.
Some things. Yeah.
So, I mean, I've heard a bunch of stuff recently because I got a bunch of stuff in. I'm gonna have a bunch of reviews coming out. So at the end of this week, I'll have my review of the HD620S coming out.
I mean, that's sort of been the consensus for most folks, right? Like, it's like...
Yeah, isn't that a shame, though? Like, I don't know. It's probably just me being a bit unrealistic, but, like, I just expect more out of Sennheiser than every other headphone manufacturer, because they're the only ones that have really made stuff that I, like, unabashedly, unreservedly recommend to a whole bunch of people. Yeah, I'm gonna start with the chassis because it's the biggest disappointment here. I I mean, I understand why they chose to put it in the 5 Series chassis, but it's
not as good.
It's not comfortable. The As you've mentioned, like this arm doesn't allow for this cup to articulate outward enough.
Yeah.
For it to clamp to the bottom of the jaw. It still has the stupid 5 Series nubbin that everyone hates. The all leather pads do make it get hot. Headband padding's pretty comfortable.
It does also get hot, man. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it gets really hot. And it also, I don't really know where the venting on this design is for the front volume, if anywhere. I actually don't know.
It could be sealed.
It might be, because when I first put it on, I actually immediately noticed like a noticeable like suction feeling on my head. It wasn't that it like suction cup like to my head, but it was like there was a pressurization such that when I put it on my head, there was like a feeling of pressurization of the eardrum, like at the end.
Shit.
So
it was not pleasant.
Can you show me the pads again?
The ear pads.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, interesting.
Also, why did they... Actually, no, never mind. I was about to say, why do they have that stupid thing, but it's for their hinge mechanism.
Yeah,
but the thing always... The little thing inside the cup always gets me in the back of the ear, and it bugs me.
Yes. Everyone complains about this, and yet they didn't want to improve that, I guess.
If you look at the pads... Okay,
yeah.
My question to you is actually, do you hear a mid-bass bump on this headphone?
Yeah, a slight one. Yeah,
a slight one, right? So
but, like very, very minor.
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting because like what I noticed when I was measuring the headphone is when you just measure it normally, like within your mics, with on the rigs, whatever, you get the sub bass is kind of a bit lower, and then you get the mid bass bump. It's more extreme.
Oh, you're talking about how when you clamp it like flattens out.
Yeah, but the reason for that is if you look at the pad has these sort of ripples in it.
Yeah.
And if you increase the clamp pressure, the ripples go away.
No.
But when when it's just sitting there normally, it's almost creating these little gaps, and that is what I imagine is causing the bass to kind of droop a little bit, and then you get the mid bass bump as a result.
Yeah, you could be right, man. I mean, I would not be surprised if the reason for that was like a bunch of little micro leaks.
Yeah, but then that makes me think as well that like if you loosen the headband to the degree where it's comfortable, you may actually end up making it worse for the leakage effects, Yeah,
I mean, almost certainly, especially because like again, on my head it doesn't necessarily seal perfectly anyway, because the hinges don't go in enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of the physical, like mechanical design here, I'm not gonna say it's a total L, because like the 5 Series chassis is generally like fine for like the prices you'd normally pay for a 5 Series headphone. But for what's supposed to be a 6 Series at a 6 Series price, I really wish they did more, especially given how nice the headphone you're wearing is.
Well, to be fair, that's a different company.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I know it's a different company, but...
So what you're saying is the 620 should have been designed by Sennheiser Pro.
No. What he's saying
not outright saying that.
What he's saying
nice far enough to even not just use the 5 Series chassis.
No, but what you're really saying is that if Yermo had answered your question, you'd be giving us a much more positive review.
I wouldn't. I mean, there are still parts of it that like I think are pretty good that don't have to do with the mechanical design.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't think the bass is one of them, for what it's worth, and that's kind of a shame, and that is in part due to the mechanical design here. But in a closed back, you do really want the bass to be fun, and I don't really get much of that with this. I get like a slight soft puffiness that like lets the bass is there, and like it has more extension than an HD 650 or something like that, but it doesn't really ever feel that much more engaging for it. And even the fact of where the mid bass bump is like kind of placed around 120 hertz, one would expect there to be like a little bit extra like bounciness, like kind of a.
You know what's funny is I get that. I get
bass.
that. The bounciness.
I don't get much of that.
Yeah.
Like I get a
Well, this
little
is just headlet versus giant head, though.
Yeah.
Could very well be, yeah. So, you know, the bass is kind of mid. Not bad, not terrible at all, but it's, yeah, I wouldn't buy it if you're looking for a headphone for bass. The mid-range might be where I kind of disagree with some of the people who have reviewed this headphone. I actually found the mids to be mostly okay.
You don't get the
I
boxy
didn't have.
character?
They do a little bit. Um, it it has that kind of character where there's like, yeah, like a notable like resonance to it, like
what was that?
well, I don't know, like you can use your mouth as a low pass filter with a resonance hump in it. So like a lot of the time I'll try to.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if you guys.
This stream is really weird.
But anyway, so it does have a little bit of that like kind of mid-range resonance to it, but not in an unwelcome way. My complaint about closed back mid-range is usually that it's too tilted the opposite direction, where it's the dip in the low mids and the slight forwardness of the upper mids can kind of make it like shouty. Can also help make it like intense and punchy if you're into that kind of thing. But generally, I prefer something a little bit warmer in the mids for a closed back in particular. Because, I mean, and I would actually like to know your guys' opinion on this. Do you feel any sort of sense of like closed backs being more fatiguing or more like they're like, well, directly coupling to your canal or eardrum?
It depends on the closed back. It's not something I really noticed with that.
Okay. Well, I don't notice it with this either.
Okay, gotcha.
So I was going to say, I notice it with a lot of maybe smaller volumed, like in terms of the size of the air volume, and more damped closed backs, actually, like the HD 569, which I reviewed and I'm going to be comparing this to. I notice it a lot more with that one, and I don't notice that as much with this. And I don't know if it's just because of the tuning being a little bit warmer compared to a lot of closed back headphones due to the rise at 400 hertz, and there's like a slight lateness to the ear gain rise, which I find pretty nice. But overall, no huge complaints with the mid-range. There is like a little bit of cuppiness on snare drums because of like the fundamental area being dipped around 200 hertz, and then the first few harmonics around 400 hertz being boosted. So there's like a little imbalance there, but it's not nearly as bad as a lot of other closed back headphones where that complaint in particular is a lot worse for me. And then the treble is not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still not great. Something about this design, which I think you can kind of tell just by looking at it, is that it's not quite as damped as you'll see a lot of closed back headphones being, at least in the front volume. I'm not sure really what's going on in the back volume. I've not taken it apart. But if you look at the measurements for these headphones, in the treble, you can generally see that there are a lot of like very narrow band resonances. And that's kind of regardless of which ear you measure it on, as long as it's, you know, as long as they're not smoothed away by the smoothing. And I found that had it didn't necessarily have a negative effect on the sound. The whole thing kind of sounds bright, splashy, airy to me, but not in the way where I get a sense of a single peak dominating the response or anything like that. You know how you mentioned the Hype 4 earlier?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's nearly as nice or smooth sounding as that, but it kind of has that same kind of presentation where it's like unilaterally airy.
Yeah.
But not crazy like peaky or anything like that. So I don't know that those narrowband peaks and dips really have a guaranteed effect at the eardrum of any listener, but for me, it sounded pretty smooth up there, not necessarily terrible, but too bright for me overall.
What I like about it though is that the ear gain is in a reasonable spot.
It is in a reasonable spot and a reasonable elevation. Yeah, I would agree. Like the mids definitely are not bad here. They're not as bad as most closebacks, that's for sure. There's still a bit of weirdness there. I do think the overall balance between mid-range and treble is maybe a bit tilted towards treble for me, just like a hair.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So
but
for most people,
otherwise,
it'd be all right.
maybe. Maybe. I mean, what would you say in terms of the tonal balance,
So
like from a
yeah,
zoomed out view?
I actually think the treble's fine.
I would say
So
fine is an accurate descriptor.
yeah, the it's fun. Like when I measured on the Gross, the treble. This is one of the few instances where actually I hear things closer to how it measures on the Gross.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and for both like the mids and for the treble. It's not like it's actually that different across both heads, but it's different enough in the treble on the 5128. There's some, and also on the 4128, there's some resonances there for both of those headphones, for both those ears that I don't personally hear, and the resonances are also there on the Gross. They just show up in spots that are closer to how it is from my ear. So yeah, I would say the treble actually is reasonable if your head and ears lines up with that.
I guess my question was compared to the mid range. Do you feel like it's like
the
tilted
overall balance? No, I don't find.
Yeah.
I actually think the issue is more that there is a bit of a scoop at around 1.5 kilohertz.
So I actually like that about this headphone.
Do you?
That's
Okay.
like when I mentioned like a later ear gain rise, that's actually kind of why I feel like this mid range doesn't bother me.
Find
as much as
it? How do you find it for the soundstage effect?
I actually found it okay. Like it wasn't so like what comes to mind as a particularly bad example is like the Focal Celeste, which has a much more dipped low mid range, hyped upper mid range, and to me sounds like a very narrow hallway that ends like 6 inches in front of my face.
But it
So
has
it's
that section filled in, right? Like the
Celeste.
It's actually kind of forward there, if I remember.
It's
correctly.
forward there. Yeah. It's quite forward there. Whereas this is kind of the opposite, and I do sense it being a little bit more relaxed and, if not panoramic, just more evenly spaced and less claustrophobic.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say it's anything like an open back headphone or like, or that it, fulfills all of the marketing claims Sennheiser might have made about it, but it's a pleasant tune, and the sound stage is not oppressive. In terms of the rest of the stuff, honestly, dynamics were disappointing. For this headphone, it's pretty soft. Yeah, not really much else to say about it on that front.
Flaccid?
Yeah. Like flaccid, limp, not especially punchy, impactful, engaging, any of that stuff.
Okay.
Transients seem pretty on the muffled, dull side, despite all of the treble and proper ear gain there.
I didn't hate the timbre.
No. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the frequency response related issues are what they are. I think overall it's still a dynamic driver, and the overall like tilt of the response is not crazy. Whereas, most planar magnetics tend to be far too biased towards treble for me to, like the timbre all that much.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so that'll be my next review. That's coming next week. I also have, after that, I got in the Let's Shure S08 and the Dunu Titan S2. That'll probably be what comes after that. Just cool. Like a little joint review of those, talking about how $100 IEMs don't really sound much better than $20 IEMs. Really, the only place they improve is the cable.
Wait. Come on now. Truth Your Hexa is in that $100 bracket. It sounds better than most $20 IEMs. Oh, you might not like the Hexa.
Yeah, but then you don't get a nicer cable. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, $100 IEMs have some work to do, as do $20 IEMs. But and then after that, I actually also got in the Moondrop Cosmo, which is Moondrop's newest over-ear planar, which actually reminds me a lot of the Headaudio Headphone V2.
Really? Interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of like baselit ESTAT-ish presentation, but like not crazy trebly. So it's like kind of just like mid-range focus. It's almost like an LCD5 if it was like deshoutified, but still kind of limp in the bass.
That's not awful.
So like I don't hate
bad.
it. I definitely don't dislike it as much as a lot of other planars, but it's still not the kind of thing I would recommend. The build is quite bad. The design is not made for fitting most human heads. It's very heavy. The cable's not great. It's like $900. I don't know. You'll see the review. It's not going to be like uber positive, but there are some parts of it that I do like more than other headphones it will often be compared to.
Right. Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'd assume to be much cheaper.
The other
I mean, they have cheaper options. It's
Para
just
and Venus.
Venus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Looking forward to those. Blaine, have you heard anything recently that you've been enamored with, or?
Let me think. I haven't really been listening to a ton of new headphones. I've been listening to new music more, which I know is heretical in the audio world.
Yeah, we listen to gear. We don't listen to music.
So
no, I've basically been heads down in circuits, so I haven't really been looking at much for headphones. I think I've tried out like a couple of things in random stores and stuff, but it's just been random consumer-fi, and the answer is like things are slowly getting better as always, but like meh.
I think you would enjoy these.
The 490 is actually one I'd like to try, but I also have no reason to own because I have the HD800.
That's true. Yep.
That's why it seems like to Andrew.
It's like a good intermediate thing, I guess.
Yeah,
at least
and it's way more affordable.
But
it's like half the price.
I much prefer this over the HD800 because it doesn't have the peak.
Yeah.
Wait, is that on our bingo card?
No, it probably should be.
We're all talking about the 6K peak. It should be, considering that it's for all transducer types.
Yeah.
Yep. We should probably. So, incidentally,
Blaine gets
ping us here or on Twitter or whatever if you have ideas for the headphone show bingo. We're trying to be a little bit less formulaic, which is part of what the job of the bingo card is, to remind us that we always talk about the same 5 things.
This does count as making fun of Blaine, though. So I'm gonna.
It does count as making fun of Blaine.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
So if you have ideas, things where you're like, oh my god, are they talking about that again? You know, message us on Discord, tag us on Twitter. Just let us know what you feel that we always do every stream.
So that should take us to our marquee topic, which is headphones that we wish existed but don't yet. Griffin, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so
like such a list.
So I have an idea, right? So
yeah.
You guys know the LCD5, right?
Yes.
It's like that nanoscale diaphragm designed by Odyssey. How big is that driver? It's like 90 millimeters, something like that.
Well, Odyssey always gives their specification for size based on like the outer perimeter of the driver, not
it's
the
not
actual
like diagonal?
diaphragm.
Okay.
Okay, so
it is diagonal, but it's diagonal on like the housing usually.
Oh, okay.
So take the LCD5
parallel universe
driver, right?
Yeah.
Make it bigger, make it like an LCD4, right? Put it in a magnesium chassis.
Okay.
Put LCD4 pads on it.
That's it.
Yep,
that's
it. That's it. Yes. This is me stumping for the LCD4 to exist again. Please bring it back.
You just want an LCD6.
Yeah.
LCD6 part 2. Yeah,
lighter chassis. Yeah.
Please. Yeah. I still don't know why they didn't just put the normal 200 ohm LCD4 driver into a magnesium chassis and call it a day. It boggles the mind.
Yeah.
Still probably top 3 headphones of all time for me. But it no longer exists.
Yeah.
So
the LCD4 was also a little bit inconsistent, right?
Had a lot. I mean, they all had.
I think that's largely to do with the pads, but in terms of drivers, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, Odyssey's driver tech is fucking sick. I'm sure the drivers were consistent, but
yeah,
that ear pad design seems like it's a vector for variation.
Yeah. Indeed. Apparently, I'd be curious how, like, say, those new Duconi pads would go for the ones that DMS was helping with, would go for an LCD4, you know?
It's an interesting question. I mean, I feel like those generally kind of wideband lifted the treble a bit.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I would like. I did like
it needs more ear gain. Like it's just the no ear
It
gain.
needs more ear gain. It doesn't need more above 10K.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not above 10K. Definitely not above 10K. That's
yeah, no.
quite
Well, I mean, I think most people would agree that the LCD4 has some sparkle up there. Most of the Odyssey planars do. At least in that form factor. Also, you know what else I would want to exist? I would want Grell OAE1, but with thinner pads to exist.
Why thinner pads specifically?
Have you seen any of the results from measurements where the cup is shifted like backwards so the driver is closer to the ear?
That's what I did when I was in Munich.
It's worth looking into.
It sounded a lot more normal. I just moved it back like this.
I mean, it probably swapped the pads.
It has like a proprietary like clip because like the driver is so frontal that it actually like sits on the pad.
Oh yeah, but so, I mean like we live in like the 3D printer era. I'm sure that you can just get some like Capra or somebody to make a pad mounting ring for it.
Could probably get Capra to make a pad mounting ring.
Oh, you still need to make me a grill for the Susvara Unveiled.
Yeah, I know. That's something that's actually probably in the next. Also, wow, way to spoil our fucking video premise.
Trying to reveal this Susvara, trying to mess with perfection.
I mean, like 5 people watch this stream, so it's okay.
97 right now.
That's basically
times
5.
20, bud.
But yeah, no, that's on the to do. Basically, I just need to figure out what the polarity of the magnets in the housing, because it just uses 6 little magnetic circle magnets. So I'll just or I could just put like a little piece of steel in there, a little shim. Don't know.
We will have a video out on Sus Unveiled soon. I did get one in, so a production unit. So,
what do you think of it?
I have yet to test. I've been doing I just picked it up yesterday, so I've been doing these first.
Have you listened to it?
No, not yet.
Oh.
But I mean, I have listened to a Sus Unveiled, so.
And that would be Andrew's ideal headphone, a Susvara Unveiled,
but with grills.
So Susvara Veiled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Susvara Revealed. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll go second. The headphone that I wish existed that does not yet. Like the easiest, stupidest answer would be like an HD600 with a bass shelf. Like open back HD, whatever. But then I thought, okay, like if this is like do anything, right? It would actually be this mechanical design headphone with HD600 tuning for the mids and treble with a bass shelf. Or like a bass rise. It doesn't need to be a shelf specifically, but like a rise into the sub bass.
Okay, so the same thing, but now you have an example of the chassis you'd want.
Exactly. This is the chassis that I want all headphones to be.
This is actually the chassis I want all.
Yeah, I mean that's also.
Yeah, I was gonna say
and
for me it'd be like
with the strap as well.
Oh god, that
HD800 style suspension strap. Let's think. Honestly, I think it could do with being lighter than the HD800.
I find the comfort on this better.
Interesting.
How heavy is HD800? Like 270?
It's pretty light.
320, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's
this
still
might
not
actually
heavy.
be lighter.
It probably is. The HD800 is big.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that could be done in small in it, and I would like to see them done.
Yeah.
Oh god. Like I really want more headphones that just have adequate ear space to be a thing. I am like at every price point I want there to be something that is as voluminous as I don't think that's big enough. It's bigger, but I'm not sure it's big enough.
For me they're big enough. It's my biggest complaint with the new Focal platform is that it's like just a little bit.
I mean, they were already too small, and now they're a little bit smaller.
Yeah, like it's like it could be, like if they just took the same, like size of the Clear, for example, that'd be all right. But it's smaller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, I want like a $300 HD800 to exist.
That's why I wanted the Grell to be good.
I know. That's why we all want the Grell to be good. But I really do think that like it's not impossible to implement something like that, and I think it would be so nice to have something that was this ergonomic, that was this light, that fit every ear, and you make the headband a little bit better. Like, let's be need to have it tightly to the top of the headband. You look like a fucking dork wearing this no matter what. So it can just have the big halo headband. We all like it has saved us looking fashionable.
You robot.
I'm not necessarily sure that's true. I don't think like the headband as you're wearing it looks like inherently bad.
No, that's my point. The headband is like the kind you would see on a headphone built for normal sane people who want their stuff to look good. But then the side is a giant cyborg hubcap. So it's pointless. You may as well just have a Hyphen Man headband, or like
normal.
It doesn't. First of all, it does not.
It looks
it looks less weird.
But the headband doesn't look as good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
I digress. I'd really like to see that at more price points. I'd really like to see more focus on ergonomics and mechanical design, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that's why 490 Pro was at all interesting to me. Was that it showed that Sennheiser Pro is genuinely caring about that. It seems even above sound quality, which, you know what? Fair play. That is a killer chassis.
And
they knocked it up.
Speaking of pro stuff, shouts out to the Sony MV1, which also has pretty good mechanical and industrial design, I find.
Yeah,
lightweight.
Everyone I've heard who's heard it says the same thing. Yeah, that it's very, very, very comfortable.
Yeah. So that there are ones that are good for that, but then you have stuff that's coming out that is not that.
I have a further thing that I demand.
Yes. Continue.
So you know how gaming headsets all have these little 3.5 millimeter jacks where you can plug in a little boom mic?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
We should have that more on high-end headphones. And furthermore, we should have actually decent boom mics.
Yeah, I agree. It can't be that hard. The only one that's actually good,
it would be simple to implement.
The only one that's good is that Sennheiser PC38X.
Yeah, that's okay. I think honestly the M50X, the variant that has the 2020 capsule is okay. Yeah.
Oh, it is a AT2020 capsule.
That's my understanding.
So the AT2020 is a good sounding microphone.
I disagree, but okay.
It's
okay.
It's fine.
Hierarchically, it's worse than what we have. It's better than headset mics.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you put that in a regular kind of like that would be perfectly fine, right? Was it too much trouble for you?
Absolutely. Did you guys
just
ever
put an
see that
RE20? Just have like an RE20 just to hang it out.
Yeah, why not? What? That sounds great. Rode also did like how Rode NT-H100 had like dual entry and you can use either one. They made one so that you can put a microphone in the other one.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a good thing. We should have more of that, and it should be on like a standardized interface. So and we could finally get away from this stupid ghettoization of gamer stuff and non-gamer. Like, I want to be able to live stream while wearing decent headphones and not have to be managing where I am relative to my mic.
Yeah. I was thinking of it more for the aesthetic reasons. Like, I hate the gamer aesthetic. It's the worst. And
audiophile every aesthetic. Better. No, hold on, this will not fly. He hates every aesthetic that isn't just matte black.
I like gray too. I like simple.
You were about to say noir.
Beige, I like
you hate anything with an aesthetic design.
I like the way the MM500 looks. I think it's a great looking headphone.
It's literally just black and gray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I
like the way that
looks
headphone
good.
looks too.
Yeah,
I love the look of that headphone. Wish it was more comfortable.
I don't mind when things look, like they have a bit of flair, some style to them. But what I really don't like is the gamery flair, the gamery sort of aesthetic, and things that are closer to that make me cringe, and things that are.
So when you say the gamer aesthetic, do you just mean black and red?
Or like black and green, I would think, like black and bright color.
Well, that's Razer.
Yeah. I mean,
which is gamer.
It's mostly that kind of thing, right? Like a lot of the gamer stuff is actually black, like you guys are saying. But it's the stuff.
But it has a color which is unacceptable.
Well, but no,
that there are some
or
things that are just monochrome.
It has there's something but they may have like they look like a spaceship or something, right? Like they try and look like certain flared out angles and stuff like that. That doesn't work for me at all. I think that looks stupid. I completely agree. That's not a good looking headphone.
I actually like how the H800 looks, but it's...
Me too.
It does look a bit Cybertruck.
Yeah.
And I don't say that flatteringly.
Yeah, like headphones, I like when headphones just look normal, Like it's just a simple normal...
Okay, no. Did you just hold up a fucking HD600 as normal?
Okay, actually, I will...
Do you not think the HD600 looks normal?
I think this looks better than the HD600. Full stop.
Is that the 6... Which one is that?
The 600. Well, but like all of them, right? Like I think the 490 Pro looks better than all the 6 Series. I'm trying to see what...
Well, it doesn't look like a countertop, which is an upgrade.
Yeah. Okay, here's an example of something I like. You're going to hate this, but I actually like the way that this looks.
No, I mean, I'm shocked that you like that because that actually looks... I mean, I don't like the patterning on the wood.
It's gaudy, right?
Is that the primal version?
Yeah. But
I don't like that, but I like everything else about Metz's design language.
I think it looks great. Like what I don't like, I mean, the halo is kind of gaudy, and this, the gold, it's all kind of gaudy. But if you're going to do gaudy, I think there's different ways of doing it, and this isn't bad.
Can you put it on your head?
I can't hear you.
That's fine. You don't need to hear me. I just want to see it on a human head, because I actually don't remember the last time I saw this headphone on a human head.
I mean, it looks bad on the head, but it looks good in and of itself. As a thing in itself, it looks pretty decent.
I don't know. I disagree. I'm not a huge fan of like the wood plus Art Deco design language they're going for there.
But that's a me thing. That's because of me.
Wood always looks bad.
But wood
Look, I'm glad we're aligned on that at least.
I mean, tell that.
Yeah, no, I mean this is the wood haters gang.
I don't know. I mean, there's like ZMF headphones that are all they go for like that. I would say most wood looks bad, but there are examples where I like it, right? Like some of the Odyssey cups actually I think look pretty good.
Yeah, it depends on the wood.
And I would say some of the ZMFs look good too. But even a lot of those,
my overpowering hatred for their headbands blinds me to everything else about ZMF. I truly dislike that headband.
Every time I think of the headband, I just think about Metal snapping it on stream.
So here's wood that I hate.
Yeah.
Well, that's not wood. It is wood. It is actually wood.
It's not even a veneer. Somebody actually, I'm not sure about this as far, but on the HE1000, someone took it apart, and it is actually an entire wooden pice. So,
well, yeah, I mean, a veneer is a wooden piece.
But a veneer, like you would think that it's just like a little liner, right? But that fits on there. But apparently, it's actually a physical wooden structure.
Well, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah. So I'm very glad that they got rid of this, the wood thing. I think of it as a veneer too, but again, I don't want to misspeak because apparently someone took one apart and it wasn't just a veneer.
Yeah, no, I mean that would make sense. I guess it's a wood panel. We're going back to station wagons.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of with you, Blaine, in that like I like the look of the HG800, and I always have. Like when I was like 16, I remember seing it for the first time.
Now this is what we go. Now we're talking. This is what headphones should look like.
That looks really bad.
You don't like the backpacks?
I don't like the visible drivers.
They have.
I don't mind a visible driver, actually.
That's because you have Stockholm syndrome.
This is the most cursed thing of all time.
From this industry's obsession with these stupid minimalist designs. And yes, I'm calling out DMS for this. The Omega has this too. Just put a goddamn grill on it.
It does affect the sound, apparently.
Make a better grill.
Just make it so large that it can't possibly affect the sound.
I will fight people.
Okay, you're giving me shit. You're giving DMS shit about an exposed driver, but the entire like time in the Susvara Unveiled's existence, you've given me shit for complaining about the fact that it's an exposed driver.
Well, no, see, here's the problem. I don't every time the Susvara comes up or the Omega comes up say, "Oh, I hate that it doesn't have a grill." That really just ruins the whole concept for me. This is in one specific instance where I'm saying things should have grills, and I agree. The Susvara Unveiled, I have called it a meme from the start. It is a meme. Everyone knows it's a meme. But it doesn't really deserve that much airtime, is what I'm saying.
It's actually worse on the Susvara Unveiled than the Omega driver, because of the back of that driver, it's not as fragile as a membrane.
I mean, you still shouldn't get your iron filings.
Yeah, of course not, right? You shouldn't go finger poking, right? But like, it's not as fragile. Okay. Anyways, I just had a thought about the idea of what our topic was here, that we were talking about the headphones that we wish existed.
I have more headphones that I wish existed.
Okay, but I just wanted to make an observation that Griffin and I are thinking about this for ourselves. You are thinking of this for humanity.
I'm a man of the people.
Yes.
So true.
Yes. So continue. What are your other things?
I want $100 headphone that is unambiguously good.
Do we not? How much is the K361?
That is unambiguously good.
That is the definition of ambiguous.
But like at $100, I don't really.
I want $100 headphone that is ergonomic, has a fairly consistent sound across listeners, sounds decently good, and does not fall apart instantly.
Okay,
and I know that's a tall order.
That's definitely not the.
It's doable though. It is possible to make such a device.
What's the closest headphone to that in your view?
Probably like the HD5. That's
$220.
It's on sale for like $169 a lot of the time, or $179.
Okay, but it's still almost twice that price. I mean, like for things that are
$599.
HE400 SE.
$599 is nowhere near that price.
How HE400 SE is $80.
Is $599 that much more expensive now?
It's like 200 MSRP, 150 normal price. The 5.1 or whatever it is, the 5.59, whatever the mid-range one is closer to that price, and is probably what you would get for that. But that's not very ergonomic, and it's not very durable.
So HE400 SE would be the closest.
Anyone in chat saying a closed back headphone is no, that is not correct.
But so HE400 SE, if it had better bass extension, it didn't have a 9 kHz peak.
I mean, honestly, the HE400 SE is
that's probably the answer. I just don't think it's unambiguously good because of the response between heads.
And also, it's not. I mean, honestly, for that price, it is actually a very good value. It is what I would recommend someone if they said I have $100 for a headphone.
If they couldn't come up any higher, yeah.
Yeah, but
the problem
what would
is
you improve?
If you do want to improve it with EQ, you do kind of need an amplifier. It's not really sensitive enough.
What would you improve about the 400 SE?
Oh, the ergonomics and the sound.
Yeah.
No, but like what specifically about the sound would you?
The headband is absolutely atrocious, and I would.
So we've become obsessed with the ergonomics. So hold on a second. We'll get to the sound in a second. The headband sucks.
Are you putting headband ergonomics on the bingo card?
Wait.
I think suspension strap, it has to have, like, the sides need to pivot more, and it needs a larger adjustment range for total head sizes.
Agree.
Particularly if you do add a suspension strap, which you should. Everything should have one, frankly. Mm-hmm. Ear pads shouldn't really be circles. It's not a very good fit to a human head, to be frank. Yeah.
Are the internal ear? Wait, are they circles for the?
Yes, they are circles.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
You think Hi-Fi Man is going to, on $100 headphone, pay to custom cut their foam?
No, it's true.
I mean, I'm shocked that they can offer that cheap. That's a really good value. It's just that it's not good enough. It's not as good as I want for the world.
I actually think the headband is fine for the HE400 SE.
No. X.
Okay.
Stop right there.
Hold on.
So bad.
No, it's totally
Both
fine.
of these, two things can be true. It can be not good enough and good enough for the money. And I think that arguably that is true in this case.
Like, my issue is when they take that same headband and put it on their stuff that costs like $2,000.
Yeah,
that is a problem.
It's like, why would you? Yeah. I think for $100, that's the headband that you would choose because it's the cheap feeling one, you know. And I don't have any like
you can
ergonomically
make a cheaper band that is more comfortable though.
Yeah, but I don't find it that horrible for its comfort. I
find it so bad. It's like I can't even get like I know the test at home right now, and I can't wear it for more than like 15 minutes.
I know people who it's like, you know, it's like for me, I have no issues with the headband. I'd prefer that headband over the Sindara headband. Like no cap, for real. I don't think it's close. Same with the
he used the Zoomer speak. He's serious.
Yeah. But I know, for example, for DMS, that headband is so uncomfortable for him, right? And I imagine for you as well. But for me, it's like there was no issues with comfort whatsoever. So
yeah,
just grow your head a little more.
You can spend like $20 more and get a capper strap, and it'll just fix that.
But the thing is, it really shouldn't be so. And as long as you have enough adjustment range, like which these things should be designed into these headphones to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Like this is, I appreciate that Capra has those as like a service to people, but this is something that headphone designers should be doing better. Because again, none of these look good. None of these will look good. These are aesthetic abominations. Just accept it and make them comfortable aesthetic abominations.
At the very least, they should be. If they're going to be aesthetic abominations, they may as well be comfortable.
And I would rather that they be comfortable than that they be good looking.
I agree.
And frankly, the market doesn't seem to care that they all look like absolute dog turds. So
even without the headband consideration you're talking about, they already look like that.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about Hi-Fi-Man before people think I'm just blowing Hi-Fi-Man. I think that in general, audiophile headphones look astonishingly bad.
Yeah.
No, and even the ones
if you judge them as a normal, sane person who wants to have something that they can wear that looks good.
And even the ones that do, in my opinion, look good, like the Sennheiser 6 series, like I would absolutely give up the looks for a better headband on those.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so honestly, I do think that for my goal set, probably you'd want a dynamic driver, to be honest.
Oh, for
I'm not positive.
You want
for the $100 thing.
That makes sense.
You know, save some money, put it towards more of the frame and stuff. Honestly, like probably ironically, like the higher end stuff kind of goes too hard on metal. But like the lower end stuff doesn't go hard enough, and I feel like those are both sort of reactions to each other. You know, like you shouldn't really have all of your structural components be made out of plastic, which a lot of the stuff under $200 does. But the high end stuff is like every single piece will be made out of metal so that we can show that we're super durable and good. And then it just ends up weighing a ton for no goddamn reason. But the ideal middle path is just to put the parts that need to be strong metal and the other ones that need to be more flexible or smooth plastic.
Yeah. And this is all doable for $100.
I mean, if you had the scale, like Sennheiser could do it.
Yeah.
Hi-Fi-Man could probably do it. I don't know that anyone is going to do this, but I really wish that there was just like a.
I mean, I've been badgering Sean Olive to make something like that. With or get AKG to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's not going to be a high margin product, to be frank. And honestly, things like durability and long term wearing comfort aren't really things that are probably going to move a lot of units initially. So,
Sennheiser is probably but the thing is, like, new products that come out are typically more expensive than the equivalent of those same products. Not that long ago, like everything's just more expensive now, and then the new products come out, and it really the only exception to this seems to be Hi-Fi-Man, where they are dramatically slashing prices on things, and things are going cheaper and cheaper for Hi-Fi-Man. But everybody else, new product comes out, more expensive.
Well, I mean that's like from an econ standpoint, the reason is because customers get mad when you raise prices on existing
They
products.
start higher, and then
yeah. So like, let's say that I've been selling the HD 600 for $200 for a long time, and my input costs have risen because inflation exists.
Yeah.
The customers don't like it when I just say, hey, this product that used to be $200, it's now $230,
Mm-hmm.
even if that's what I need to maintain my same percentage of margin. So you
Didn't that
introduce
literally happen with the 6XX?
Yes, it
too?
did.
Yeah, it did, and
then
people
they
were mad.
immediately, yeah, they immediately
People were
upped it.
really mad.
Yeah.
That's what happens, though.
And that's why you go up.
Yeah. But then you have this weird scenario where you have the 660 S2 at like $600, and the 650 at 400, or 600 at 400, and 650 at 450, or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, doesn't that mostly just
650
reflect that the 660 is not well liked?
Why?
That it's still more expensive?
Oh, didn't you say $200?
No. 660
No.
S2 is $600.
Oh, $600.
Yeah.
Wait, is it actually still selling for that?
So
Probably
yes.
not. No, they
But
probably
they go
discounted it.
they go on sale, right? Like all that series goes on sale. Like the other ones are like $350 on sale, right? So
yeah, no, I always
for
figured we
500.
compare the sale prices.
yeah, so if you compare,
I'm honestly surprised that it can sell for 500.
What, the 660 S2? I know, but people do like it, right? Like they do. I see posts on Reddit all the time, like, and even the 660S, right? The previous one, and even that one was more expensive. So, I just, as much as we say, oh, Sennheiser could do it, release a $100 headphone that's actually good. I don't see why, for the reasons that you just mentioned, they would bother do that. I think what they could do is maybe release a product at $200 that would get discounted later on down the road. That might eventually.
I mean, that's kind of what the 560S, what I was hoping it would be.
Yeah.
But it ended up not really being
quite,
that.
but that's,
instead of doing that, they released a more expensive version of the same headphone for the Pro crowd.
Hold on. How much is the PC38X?
I think like 150.
I don't actually find it that comfortable, but
it's
but it is what I recommend people
169.
who want a headphone.
169. Yeah, it's decent though, right? Like it's close to that.
PC37X, which is probably, discontinued, but if you can find it anywhere, it's probably around $100 now that 38X is around.
Right.
That might be the option.
But the 560S, PC38X, right? Like those are the ones that could have been that or close to that from Sennheiser. But still not quite. So they have some work to do.
I mean, and I think that part of the problem is that the enthusiast headphone market is kind of bounded by the fact that people don't really want to make a consumer volume product for it because it's a small market. But because of that, there's never really something that's like the AirPods of enthusiast headphones, something that's attainable to normal people and ubiquitous. The closest thing is the HD6XX. Yes, I know. We were all... That is the exception. But I mean, like the 6XX, you could make a 6XX tier of gangbusters seller at a different price point. We just sort of haven't yet.
Yeah. And I feel like the only thing that's hit that kind of comparable level of volume has been the Maxwell, but that's because it courted an entirely different audience along with the audiophiles.
And the Maxwell is a really good headphone.
It's just too heavy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we're all agreed on that, but yes.
Yeah. Lighter Maxwell would be sick.
Lighter Maxwell, done. That's, yeah.
Actually, yeah, that would be a great freaking headphone.
Yep.
Well, you heard us, Odyssey. Get on it.
Honestly, if Sankar's in the chat.
Don't even worry about the weight. Just make the headband better.
Well,
true.
Maybe Metal571 will watch this and then he'll reach out to Sankar.
That's a bingo. That's
there we go. Wait, but no, he's.
Oh wait, no. Sorry. There's one more. You guys need to go on a philosophy tangent.
It's just bingo. It's not. That's a bingo, huh? That's.
Oh wait, I feel like that's a reference.
It is. It's Inglourious Bastards. Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
That's what,
we didn't. Yeah. Wait. No, we didn't mention Floyd Toole, did we?
Okay, so you guys clearly are not old enough to have played much bingo. People have different bingo cards.
Yeah, no, that's why I said for mine. You guys need to go on a philosophy tangent.
I also need a philosophy tangent in order to get bingo.
Okay.
I also need a
15-minute.
Well, remember that the point is that we're not supposed to get bingo, which means we cannot go on a philosophy tangent.
Well, no, we can. We haven't talked about Floyd Toole yet, so
15-minute debate about some fine point of phrasing.
Some of these I didn't quite get, but
oh no, that one happens to us all the time. Where it's like, oh, I disagree, and then 15 minutes later, yeah, no, we pretty much agree. It was just a tiny wording difference between us.
Oh, a distinction without a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just trying to think if there's. Do you have any other things that you wish that your laundry list of?
Yeah. I do. I wish this headphone came with this headband already, and had less treble and more upper mids.
Oh, I have another thing I want. I want an HE 9.
Yeah.
Or an HE .1 or whatever. No. I get it. I want a downgraded Orpheus.
Everybody wants that. That's like an HE1 that doesn't have the stupid marble, that doesn't have the tubes rising out of the thing. Just like the HE1 headphone with an energizer of some kind. It could be for $10,000 or whatever, right? It could be still expensive, but not, stupid expensive.
And then I want an even cheaper version that's a little bit worse, but actually HD 800 price.
Yeah, something in the $2,000 price range would be good for that. Yeah.
Honestly, I just kind of want a headphone that I aspire to.
Well, and the crazy thing is that the HE1, I know Griffin is not as hot on it, but the HE1 is ergonomically so good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It actually kind of reminded me of the headphone you're wearing now.
Yeah. It's phenomenally good for that. And if they can just put that at a lower price point somehow, that would be big win.
Someone in chat says, could be a neat idea to combine amps, DACs, headphones, and replicate the HE1 sound not in an HE1.
What?
Interesting. Someone wants us to clone the HE1.
We should just convince Sennheiser to do a DSP headphone.
But see, I would still improve on the HE1.
Yeah, no. There's plenty to improve there.
Yeah, you could fill in the mids a bit,
I actually kind of like that mid-range presentation.
I do not.
I like the relaxed ear gain. I think the ear gain shape's pretty good.
And what would you fill in?
I do not.
Yeah. Yeah, Lorho gang, right?
No, it's just
that's got to be on our bingo card.
2K
yeah,
thing.
No, Gaetan Lorho needs to be on the new version of the
Lorho needs to be on the bingo card, yeah. But yeah, I just feel because it has a bass rise and the 2K dip, it's just too.
I would fix the 1 to 2K region. That because it's
that's probably what I would do rather than cut bass. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of another headphone that I want, an IEM. That's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, yes, I would like a square circle.
Oh, that's on our card. That's on our card. IEM's bad. Ticked off. Good. Oh,
anyone get bingo yet?
No.
Okay.
No, not quite.
Yeah, but I would like either AirPods Pro 3, that would be more ergonomic and with a few different modes for sound that I could choose. This might sound heretic, but heretical. Thank you. I wish Joel was here to
put the tickle in heretic.
Correct me on that.
Do we have HR yet?
Put the tickle in heretical.
No, but I would love if usable preset EQs, because Apple's never going to give us parametric EQ or anything like that, but usable EQs system wide for the type of content you're consuming. I would love a movies preset that just boosts under 50 hertz crazily.
All right.
So I could really feel the Michael Bay action explosions in my gut.
I have another
something that maybe cuts a little bass for music.
I have another headphone wish list, or wish. An ANC headphone that has ear cups that are of sufficient size for human ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that doesn't sound horrific.
Yes, that combination would be lovely.
Yeah.
And with parametric EQ in the app. It doesn't need to have an amazing tuning out of the box, but just if it has parametric EQ, right, then it's all good. But the key thing is that, like ear cups that are actually the closest thing is the Sennheiser Momentum 4, I think. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that great for ANC memory serving, but
no, it's fine. It's whatever.
What did you think of the ergonomics of AirPods Max 2? No, too small.
Oh, for the ear cup, yeah, a little.
That's what I meant.
A little too small. Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
did you guys just see the message from Caleb?
People are asking where to find the bingo cards. I don't know if we
posted I linked it in chat.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
You link it again. Linked it. Yeah.
Wait, what did Caleb say?
He said he got the tin hi-fi doo-doo in.
Someone linked me a song that was called that, I think.
I feel like you're the type of person that links that song to other people.
Yes. No, it's a quite watched music video. It's Blackpink, I think.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Blackpink?
It is a
He's just saying do.
Listen, I don't know these things. Like that's one area of weird music that I don't listen to much, but it seems to be very popular these days.
What's the genre?
K-pop?
Oh.
K-pop.
It's pretty damn popular. Yeah.
Okay.
It's South Korean popular music, Andrew.
Yes, no, I understood that. Yes. Okay.
Any other headphones we want to make?
Okay.
What about chat? Chat. Do you have any ideal headphones? APP2 with EQ would be insane. That's correct.
Yes. Yeah. No. What is something that, what do the people want? What is it that appeals to you?
An APP2 that costs more so they can feel more audiophile about it.
That would be a great recommendation.
Well, I mean, they could do it like Warwick and just gold plate it.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Gold plated APP2.
Still have severe issue with that.
It's very striking in person.
I have seen it. You saw it not. I helped pack that up at Can Jam, and I hate it.
The black one.
I think I can't know for sure, but I feel like I know this guy from Discord. I think it's Hot Frozen Finn with the Eastern, I'm not sure what language that is, characters.
Well, that's Kana, so that has to be Japanese, right?
Okay.
490 with 600 series driver?
Yeah, technically, that kind of platform of driver does exist in the 6 series in 2 different iterations, in this one and in the 660S. So technically...
No, he's saying 490 chassis.
I know what he's saying. I'm taking the piss because we shouldn't be referring to these as series of driver. Like that driver in the 490 is in the 2 series, the 3 series, the 4 series, the 5 series, the 6 series, and the 7 series. The only thing it's not in is the 8 series.
Yeah.
So we need to use the platform names, which are SYS, SIS, for basically all of Sennheiser's modern, like mass-produced drivers, which are in like basically most of their headphones. And then the one in the 6 series that he's talking about is the KDH 580 platform, which is only in a few. It's only in the 580 Precision. Chad saw this, but did it like bounce across the screen for them too? Because that was so funny. It was very funny. But yeah, I'm just a little tired of people calling it the 5 series driver. With like a
that's driver story all over again, right? It's like people have this idea of performance.
Well, I mean, it is a different driver with different characteristics and acoustics that, you know, when placed into the same chassis will have a different effect. But like, it's not just one series.
Yeah.
I forgot what you were talking about before that. Sorry about that.
Daniel wants a high-end KSC 75. Doesn't Audio-Technica make those? The clip-on headphone things?
Yeah, but they sound worse than KSC 75.
No, that's not surprising.
Yeah, Capra Audio has the Faunus, which is more like a Porta Pro in terms of its tonal signature.
HE1000 SE with new black cable measure, please. Oh, that's not so. That's
Is that Nick? Is that Nick?
Yeah.
Nick, get out of here. Nick, if you want it measured, send it to him.
What new black cable?
I don't know. He just bought like a brand new
okay.
AG1000 SE. And
it'd be cool if manufacturers tried to bring tuning inspired by the Symphonium Meteor to a lower price point. So this is actually interesting. I mean, we do see the newer.
I mean, that's kind of what Da Vinci was.
But that not that much lower, right? Like we're talking like
You're
a lower
talking about
price.
low.
Yeah, because like the Race to the Bottom is all basically Harman, right? It's or Harman like, right?
By that you mean the stuff that's like under $150 and stuff like that?
Yeah, it'd be cool if the Race to the Bottom, it might actually become that, soon.
Yeah, stay tuned.
It wouldn't surprise me. Like I could see, I could see Thieaudio doing it, right? I could see Truthier doing it, right? Stuff like that.
Natalia Keene has an interesting one: a custom molded true wireless. The closest thing I can think to that is the Logitech / Ultimate Ear, the things with the UV curing things. You shove them in your ear and then they go bzzz, and they get molded.
Yeah, could be cool.
But I'm not sure if those
I know
sound
Sennheiser has those like custom fit ear tips, but they're not sold outside of Europe or outside of Germany or something.
Yeah, isn't that like something that's a pilot program and they're not sure if they're going to keep doing it?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it kind of makes sense that it wouldn't really be profitable.
Yeah, it would be very niche.
And it's a lot of manual work, and the sound impacts are meaningful.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt. CIEMs are a pain in the ass, honestly.
IEMs are a pain in the ass.
Yeah. True.
Can we double check our bingo card here?
Capra says, I want a DIY headphone that sounds good. That would be a good thing to exist in the world.
I made one that sounds pretty good.
I mean, he's made at least one that I've heard that sounds pretty good. Has some issues in the treble, but it's a closed pack.
Most headphones have issues in the treble?
Well, no, so it's actually too dark.
Oh, okay. Wow.
If you're saying that.
That's, yeah.
It's dark in a spot that I'm not usually overly sensitive to. It's like in that 6 to 8K kind of mid-treble region. But I really think he could just futz around with whatever's going on in the front volume and make that work a little better.
Multiple people wanting headphones for freaks, but not as headphones for freaks. We have SR1A with sub bass and L700 that looks normal and doesn't need an equalizer and has bass.
Yeah,
I mean, I think an ear speaker with bass would be good.
Not bad.
Multiple people asking for cost derivatives here, which is really quite surprising to me.
Yeah, my hot take on all that is that the Porta Pro is not that good.
The Porta Pro is bad.
Yeah.
The KSC75 is pretty decent.
Yeah.
You guys are disgusting people. I can't believe I call you my friend.
Blaine also thinks that the DT990 is tolerable.
Depends on the state of the pads.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's yeah. It's true. It's cheating, but it's true.
It's like, oh, the treble sounds better when I smoosh my ears against my head.
No, I mean it's just listen.
Well, just run over the pads with a car, several times.
There you go.
And then
just hold the pads in front of a muffler and dunk them under some water.
What the fuck is Rob saying? Burrowing IEMs that could be ripped out by the cables would be good.
I love Rob.
What does that mean, Rob? Do they burrow into your ear canal?
Rob is legitimately the most prolific and gifted shitposter who's ever on the streams here.
Yeah.
And I just want to shout him out really quick and say how grateful I am. Every time I read a post from you, dude, it is delightfully unhinged, and it makes my heart warm. I appreciate you.
Yes. It warms the cockles of your heart.
The what? No, don't answer that.
The cockles.
I don't want.
Yeah, they're like the little valves.
The cockles. Yeah.
Great. Anyway.
Andrew, you're the kind of person who really liked saying buttress when you learned about it, aren't you?
No, but now that you mention it, that is a great word. And I will endeavor to use it more.
That's the classic. That one and the gazebo are the two classic D&D stories about the adventurer who loses the fight with the flying buttress.
I hate D&D.
Wait, I was not expecting that.
This is somewhere on our bingo card, right?
No.
Not talking about audio. That's online.
Oh, I mean, we barely did that, but okay. I'll give it to you.
I'd love to talk to you about why you hate D&D at some point, but
yeah,
probably not on stream.
I mean, that would satisfy. That would give me a bingo.
Okay, but again, we're trying to not get bingo.
Oh, okay.
You are missing the point of the game, Andrew.
All right.
The only one that we want to do on there is shouting at headphones.com, which also is why we're able to do this show for you guys.
Check out headphones.com. Links in the description. Yeah, no, while I was on my deathbed in Bogota, I decided to start playing Baldur's Gate 3, and it reaffirmed for me that I do not like D&D at all. I don't like the lore. I don't like the systems. I hate it, but I'm absolutely hooked.
So you don't like it, but you're playing it obsessively.
So you don't.
Well,
like
I was at the time. Yeah.
You don't like it, but you need it.
It's just a well done experience, but I don't like. It would be so much better if it wasn't D&D.
So is it the D20 rolling that you don't like, or
I just don't like anything to do with the systems and like the saving throws and all that shit. It's just like no.
Headphones
like,
with an inbuilt Fidelix 5K. Nice to have.
Divinity is a better game. I'm sorry, it just is.
Okay, that's
talking about games.
A very dubious take.
Oh, Original Sin 2, by the way, not 1, but 2.
I haven't played.
All right, I'm gonna have to check that off on the bingo card. Not talking about audio.
Yeah.
You're on thin ice.
What happens if we get a bingo?
We cancel the stream and we never do it again.
Interesting.
Okay, I shouldn't say that Divinity is better because I haven't played through Baldur's Gate 3 yet, but so far, I would say Divinity Original Sin 2 is better for where I'm at.
I'm surprised Samsung/Harman haven't made a well-tuned wireless ANC headphone under $300. I think there was an AKG one that people liked, but didn't stay in production for very long.
Pour one out for my boy N700 NC.
That one hurts.
Forever in my heart.
It's a good headphone.
Yeah, I will say that
it was, except that it always broke.
Mm-hmm.
It always broke, and it had the same issue K371 had.
And the pricing was weird on it too, because it's around $300 if I remember correctly, but it would constantly go on sale.
Retail.
Yeah, it would constantly go on sale for like half that.
Yeah.
So this,
yeah, I don't think it sold well.
Yeah, it's weird, but.
Well, I mean, I think they kind of learned their lesson with that one. That like. Making good sounding wireless headphones does not end well for them.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately they learned the wrong lesson there. The lesson that should be learned, and that Sean would agree with me on, is that they're not marketing their products well enough.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole wireless ANC headphone industry is all around marketing features, not the idea that one can sound better than the other, because that's not even And looks, yeah. But it's like the idea that one headphone can sound better than another one is like a footnote in the marketing. It's not really what the marketing has ever been all about.
Justified True Belief in chat says, what about the DMS headphone? Is it any good?
I don't know if that's why the name is JTB, but
I would say it's pretty good.
I choose to believe that because that's... No, actually, that's not true, because I don't think you can choose to believe things. You believe it or you don't.
Oh my god, now I have to get fucking bingo. Are you serious? No philosophy tangents.
It's not. That's not a philosophy tangent.
Have you guys heard of the new AKG like wireless headphone, actually, now that it's been brought up?
Which one?
The AKG N9 Hybrid.
No, I haven't heard
of it. AKG N9. Could it be good?
It's Harman with extra treble.
That could be okay.
No.
For you, probably. Yeah. I think the only person who has measured it has been Regina from Korea. And he measured it on his 45CA with the KB5000 pinna.
Oh, excellent. So it's a good measurement.
The measurements would be, it is a good measurement. He generally puts out very high quality measurements.
Yo, what the fuck? This thing has the most simultaneously based and surreal feature I've ever seen.
Which is?
Hold on, Andrew. Can you pull up this sheet,
Can
like
you post
on
it
the
in general, not in
stream?
the stream chat? Because I can't read the stream chat when I'm in. What?
So look at this. It has
I
a
just saw a bunch of
dongle
nerd
that
things
stores
bouncing
inside the
around.
cup.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about
That's
that.
so weird.
It's
Okay.
Bluetooth and it has
Hold on. Let me
2.4
pull this up on
gigahertz
the stream.
wireless.
Let me pull it up on the stream. 1 second. 1 second. Oh, that's the bingo card.
This stream is not sponsored by AKG, although it should be.
It's just the bingo card now. There we go. All right, I can zoom in. 1 second.
So no, but scroll down to the second page. They have like a hidden dongle pocket.
Oh, whoa. What?
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's a 2.4 gigahertz dongle.
I love that.
Wait, so the cup comes off?
The back of it does, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the dongle hides.
Okay.
I love it.
I would love to try this one. Maybe we should get it in.
Yeah, look, try to get it in because, I mean, if it's a Harman closed back with a nice connectivity feature, what looks like a nicer visual design, maybe the same ergonomics or worse.
My biggest issue is the cup. Like
you think it's gonna be too small?
It's gonna be too small. But still, this could be good. I don't have any contacts at AKG, unfortunately, so I don't know. I might just have to buy it.
I think we'll have to buy it, but I think it'll be worth it.
That's fine. Yeah, that looks cool. I'm into it.
Yeah, let me see if I could find the measurement.
God, this is so weird in pictures, though.
Lots of things are weird in pictures.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's, maybe that's good.
Maybe that's good. Did that change anything on my bingo card? I'm not counting that as philosophy tangent, by the way, because that wasn't.
I think that's fine.
Weirdly, the ones that I would have expected we would have gone over are not. We haven't talked about HRTF. We haven't talked about HPTF.
We have very early.
There's still time.
I don't think that counts.
For some reason, when I search that, I get recommended that... Wait, they made a sequel to the terrible Aventone planer? Gross.
Well, we know some stuff about Aventone.
It has, like, cream-colored grills now.
Well, that's cool.
No, it's not.
Don't we have their drivers?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Gross. Anyway.
I posted a compensated measurement. It is compensated to Harman.
What? What is that?
Yeah, that could be a little rough.
The treble looks kind of rough.
Yep.
That could be a little rough.
Yeah, the fact that it looks at some points brighter than AirPods Max above 6 kilohertz is worrying to me.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that was the issue with the Mark Levinson too, right? Is it the treble was just too much?
Someone in chat saying, I thought the Aventone planer was good. I would not describe the Aventone planer as good.
Was that the one that had...
that was the one where the driver was made out of plastic, so the tension of the screws changes the resonances of the panel.
It was one of the...
Wait, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. That was the one that you installed that driver on like a flat 3D printed, like it had no actual headphone shape to it. It just looked like a flat surface, and I still have it somewhere. It works.
It works.
I taped some Audio Quest pads to it with duct tape.
Interesting.
Yeah. Lots of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Would asking a philosophy question be ban-worthy in chat? No.
Yes, ban-worthy.
No.
Who's asking? Mark Doof, I'm sorry, dude. You got to go.
No, definitely ask it.
Philip Floyd says, I would like to see more cheaper electrostatic headphones.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Floyd Tool.
No.
Philip Floyd.
Okay. Cheaper electrostatic headphones?
So the thing
I would
is,
also
like,
like to see more cheap electrostatic headphones.
I mean, you can get some Stax headphones very cheap. It's just you also have to get either an Energizer or a Transformer.
What about that
Well,
one that
cheap
you could...
is
can also
cheap
be
is
cheap.
relative.
Wasn't there that one
like how
from
cheap do you mean?
Cost, the Mass Drop one?
Like $300.
Yeah, $300. Then another what, 500 for an Energizer, 400.
Depends. I've seen them go lower than that. I've
I'm
seen
just
them go
saying,
for
like
200.
Still, it'd be nice to have something at $300-400.
That's like an all-in system.
It doesn't have to be good.
Yeah, I mean, it almost certainly won't be, but
yeah.
I mean, I think you could make a good E-stat for that because it's really not hard to make an E-stat amp. It's like it's hard to make a good E-stat amp, but headphones don't really need good amps, so.
true.
I mean, well, it's true. Headphones are fucking terrible.
Yes. Yes.
It's like
amps are scarcely the limit of noise or distortion.
Well, noise, yes, but distortion almost never, and that's the thing. So just make an amp that doesn't make a lot of noise, and you're pretty much okay.
Oh yeah,
but it won't sell well because it won't score
low.
top on Synad.
Well, I mean, you can't really.
Is that on the bingo card?
It should be. You can, but they don't measure electrostatic amplifier Synad because the signal levels are so insanely high that you need an adapter to connect to the audio analyzer.
Right. All right. Let's go to a different. Let's go to
says, I want to know what's an Energizer to make them so expensive. Transformers.
Magic.
Transformers are expensive.
Magic is expensive. Let's do spicy hour here, or spicy 20 minutes.
Let's do spicy frozen 20 minutes. So if you have a cold take, frozen face. If you have a hot take, hot pepper.
Yeah. Okay. I'd rather ask Resolve about his coon drop in another stream. In what sense he's a coonian, if at all? No philosophy question. I'm not necessarily. I just wanted to be a dick. A lot of the philosophy drops come.
Did you delete that?
Hell yeah, I deleted it. I told him. I warned him.
No,
I'm just saying, Coon is really
you're not gonna answer that question.
Yeah, like I'm just being a dick, right? Like a lot of that is just it's not
the second most overrated philosopher of science.
I'm not. Oh, who's the first in your mind? Fairband?
Yeah.
Guys, I have bingo. I have bingo.
What's your talk on? Or what's your take on fucking what's his Hegel?
Oh my god, what a fucking question to ask. What's your take on Hegel? How long do you have? And the answer is we don't have long before Griffin cuts the mic.
I was gonna ask.
I have the power.
All right. No, but I'm not a
Also,
Coonian.
Popper Gang, we out here?
Yeah, actually, I would be. Yeah.
The Open Society and its enemies.
Yeah.
Tag yourself. I'm its enemies.
There you go. What are your thoughts on Peter Singer and heavy petting?
Stop.
Okay.
Server mute you. Okay, I can literally server mute you both, so please stop.
All right.
Hobby Talk says, what kind of transformer motes I buy for work are pretty cheap? Signal transformers can get pretty expensive because they need to have pretty wide bandwidth and they need to have pretty low distortion. And particularly for E-stats, they need to have that while having really high signal levels. So, yeah.
Oh, Mark, feel free to probe Resolve in the Discord. Actually,
no, but I answered that one already. I'm not a Coonian.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Feel free to probe you whenever because you deserve it for breaking the rules and giving me bingo.
Okay.
Anyway,
wait, did you achieve bingo for what?
Philosophy
tangent.
I think almost everyone got bingo off that one.
No, I'm still missing Floyd Toole.
Oh, well, fuck you. I guess we have bingo.
Damn it! I am so close to bingo on so many different...
Yeah, I mean, you don't deserve bingo.
So true.
I thought we weren't supposed to get bingo.
Yes, but then you insisted.
We have fun here.
Who's Gunter T? Okay, that is.
Wait, no. So this is the problem with giving chat the bingo card. is they can just ask questions that feed into the bingo.
But Gunter Teal was already crossed off on mine because we talked about him earlier.
We didn't really.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
We did not.
We did.
We
briefly.
did not.
Briefly.
We
yeah.
at no point talked about Gunter Teal.
I do not remember that.
This man is cheating at bingo.
I'm
what
pretty
the
sure
fuck makes a man cheat at bingo?
I'm pretty sure we talked about
Gunter Teal. He didn't have philosophy tangent on his.
Because we were talking about the Grell phone and how it was not. It was
frontally oriented.
Yeah, exactly. Front bias, and that's when you referenced Gunter Teal.
When?
I don't remember.
I do not remember this.
Well, we have a it's in the recording, so we'll watch.
Yeah,
okay, well, I can play back the tapes.
I could be wrong, and I could have just heard Gunter Teal in my head.
We have the game tape on it. We can look at it later.
Okay, so bingo aside, actually, fuck Spicy Hour. People did actually. We asked people if they have a headphone that they want, and most of the answers we got were pretty vague. Does anyone have something that specifically you want to exist?
Yeah, let's do that instead. Let's get some. Very
tell us
specific.
to make a headphone, and if it's a good enough idea, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dangerous promise.
I mean, it's only if it's a good enough idea.
That's true. And
no.
Frankly, chat could probably not come up with
a
good idea.
I like the idea of a headphone
designed example by chat. For chat not coming up with good ideas. I want a good closed back on ear.
Yeah, that's
a
awful.
Bad idea.
Get out. Can I ban this person?
Golem,
don't ban Golem.
I mean, I get it, but like,
I don't.
Dude.
I don't get wanting it on here.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Just take an HD 25 and just like put a layer of toilet paper in front of the driver. You're good.
For style?
That's the best you're gonna get, dude.
Why not make a good-looking circumaural headphone? Right?
I mean, those exist.
Heistfeiman's the Svara driver in Metza Elite chassis.
Okay. I don't know if that would be great, but
yeah,
interesting.
I doubt it would be great. I don't know. We would have similar issues.
Yeah.
HD 800 with good mids. I think the HD 800's mids are fine.
Could be better.
Could probably be better.
Could be better, but like if the treble weren't also boosted, I would mind the less mid. I would mind the mids less.
Bayer dynamic but treble anemic with 20 dB mid-range pump.
Okay, so
I retract everything I said about trying to make a headphone by chat committee.
I don't know. Natalia has a good idea. 200 gram open back that stages like an HD 800 but has mid-range like an HD 600.
That is actually doable. Well, actually, I don't know about because I feel like it's a trade-off. I think it's a necessary trade-off to have the spaciousness effect.
You say it's a necessary but not sufficient condition.
Now
that needs to be on the bingo card.
Yeah. No, I think it's a requirement.
Daniel, you are canceled. This is never happening.
Dude, Sennheiser actually has patents on planers.
They should. That's a great idea.
Not while I live and breathe.
Wait, now would that be Sennheiser for their Pro division or like the consumer?
Oh shit! Those patents were registered before they split.
So I wonder
know who owns them now.
Yeah.
Does it say who technically like filed the patent, whether it was Sennheiser, just Sennheiser, or if it was specifically Sennheiser Pro? Because I think whatever would have been most of Sennheiser is now Sonova, and then Pro is
all right. It's currently owned by Sonova.
Yeah.
Okay.
U12T,
also,
U4S.
Axel Grell is on that patent. Of course he is.
Man, I feel so bad about not liking the Grell headphone.
I like the Grell.
I like the Axel
Grell.
Not the phone.
Every time I have met Axel Grell in person, he has been an absolute delight.
Yeah.
Very generous with his time and very clear about communicating like what he's going for whenever he's talking about his own products.
All right, let's see.
It's a shame.
Have you guys considered writing an article disambiguating the term scaling?
Wait, I don't think we've considered that. I don't understand what
is scale like.
I've bothered the Discord sphere about it. The stream is next. You should bother SBAF about that one.
Scaling as in, like, I think they mean like scaling like headphones with different amplifiers, right?
Yeah.
You have asked the wrong people.
Well, okay, but I do think that we can do some testing and then maybe a follow up, like a subsequent article on this. I
don't necessarily know that it needs a whole article.
No. Hear me out. Simulating distortion profiles. Like, so you can simulate harmonic distortion from tube amps to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
And what we don't really know is what kind of, or is it, even order distortion profiles that are preferred over odd order, stuff like that, right? Like, it'd be great to be able to do some sort of thing like that, so that we could then look at tube amplifier distortion profiles and say this is more likely to be preferred for people who like that.
I keep forgetting, but like 2 years ago, I pitched the idea of having a distortion knob in amps.
Yeah.
Like in a headphone amp, where you could control the level of distortion at a granular level, and I still feel like that's something I'd like to add to a proto at some point.
But the idea of simulating amplifier distortion is cool because you can do this. You can do it virtually, right? So you can get people to participate in this very easily, and just have it be a mass study to see what people prefer.
So the reason I said it wasn't deserving of an article was because I don't think it actually takes that long to explain what it means. I think it literally just
but in some cases
it literally just means the difference that people perceive on a headphone when moving it between different pieces of amps or
scaling. You mean
scaling?
Yeah. That wouldn't be, but I do think it's interesting, the idea of like certain amplifiers might produce a more favorable result than others if it follows a more broad appeal distortion profile, for example. We don't know that it would necessarily. I'm just saying that would be an interesting thing to study and find out if that's the case. And then we could write an article on that. It's a little bit adjacent to the concept of like scaling, right? Because you're getting higher end equipment with your HD600s or whatever.
Mark seems to have encountered a few different meanings. Mark, can you describe kind of what the different meanings you've encountered are? Because I've never really encountered more than one.
Chef Steve is asking for a headphone that actually horribly does already exist. A wireless tube headphone.
Yeah, who makes that? For some reason I feel like it's Ayama, but I don't know.
I don't remember, but I have seen pictures of it, and it's horrible. Or maybe I'm thinking of a wireless VU meter headphone. That might be what I'm thinking of. Oh no, there is a wait.
There are at least 2 tube headphones I've seen though. And both of them have names I cannot remember for the life of me. Okay, that's one of them. Écoute?
Your French is not really living up to the budget Justin Trudeau vibe.
Hey, listen. That is not an insult. Anyway.
Right, so there's that one, but there's also something called OVC came out with one.
That's the other one, yeah.
And for some reason,
about either of these headphones.
You wish other brands use the DCA gimbal hinge. I actually don't. Gimbal hinge maybe, but I'm not a fan of the Nidinal headband because it's always too tight for me. So I don't get along with the.
When you say the gimbal hinge, do you mean the fact that there's like
the collapsibility thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what part is considered to be hinged here. Because like they have that little rotated bit in the middle of like the arm, like the yoke, and I'm wondering if that's what's meant. I like the way that I like the way that Dan's like the adjustability is on Dan's stuff, and I think that it should basically be considered to be the baseline for this stuff. I think there should be more rotation though.
Adjustability. There is no like inward outward adjustability.
Yeah, the inward outward is
memory is.
Yeah, and that I can't. It doesn't. It's like all of it is the brunt of all of it is taken up by the pad deformation, and if it's not quite right for a person's head, it's never going to be okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I feel like this comes up all the time. Why are there no more multi-driver open back headphones?
Ah,
there don't need to be. No, but like, you know what I mean, right? Like we have enough problems.
They are not a sensible idea. It's like if you went to the speaker world and were like, "Hey, we have a single driver that can do everything we want, but we'd really like to add additional ones." People would be like, "Are you insane?" Like the quest has always been to have as many things on one driver as possible. It's only in headphone world that we have this weird brain disease where we think more drivers is better.
Yeah.
Well, that answers the question, I think. More adjustable clamp like Head 2 would be nice to see. If it were in a mode of adjustment that was like more intuitive and easy to use and quick,
I think
and didn't have that chunky pad on the top. And
if they made the pad wider, I think it would be.
Honestly, if they just didn't have a top pad and it was just like a wide, thin strap that just formed
no cushion. It doesn't need cushion if it's wide.
It doesn't need cushion if it's got surface area and
like the Odyssey
to your
thing. Yeah,
like the old Odyssey
like the
LCD
old Odyssey
band.
Thing. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, yes, something like that would have been great. But yeah, I mean, it's such a shame, man.
Hedo says, "Will we ever have an open back with sub bass? Maybe a multi-driver setup could accomplish that." Now, multi-driver setup could accomplish that, but so too could a number of other things.
Like a filter.
I mean, a lot of planars have bass extension and they're open backs.
Like if you have like the Grell phone actually rises into like 35 hertz or some shit.
Yeah, but people only think like sub bass is 20 hertz, man. Like,
yeah.
No, but like we do though. The DC Expanse has sub bass.
Planar based. Okay, you meant a good headphone.
Based. Okay. In general, it is absolutely doable. It is absolutely doable via acoustic means as well, should you so desire. There are trade-offs, and major trade-off there is basically max output level.
Yeah.
Actually, the
sensitivity.
The Focal Hadenis has, I don't know if you want to say sub bass, but it has the stuff that is below the, where the majority of the bass tones fall.
I mean,
it rolls from like 60 hertz, right? 50 hertz.
60?
No, it's lower than that, if I recall.
I would say
it has a boost, right? Like it rises up.
Okay, I'm looking at the peak, and it looks to me like it's about 55 hertz.
Yeah.
That's not low enough, in my opinion.
And then it kind of tapers, right?
Also, it's called the Denny's, which I don't really like because I don't like Denny's.
Agree.
There's a Denny's by my house that's always got like the entire parking lot packed, and it's the weirdest thing to me. Any time of day you go by there, there's nowhere to park. And I'm just like, who are these people who are clamoring to eat at Denny's?
Is that the Denny's that's secretly a music venue?
Is there a Denny's that's secretly a music venue?
No, there's just that one video online of people throwing a hardcore show at a Denny's.
What?
You never seen that?
No.
There's like a hardcore band like going, and then they take a quick pause and just let a chord ring out, and then the lead vocalist is like, "What the fuck is up, Denny's?"
Did you just censor yourself on our? Are we trying not to swear?
No, I said the F word.
You didn't get the memo. This is a G-rated
stream. I didn't censor myself. I said the word.
Didn't say it.
He said it very quietly.
I did say the word. Did I cut out?
I heard it. I was like, "Wow, are you actually?"
No, I said the word. I'm almost 30. I said the word. I'm not censoring myself for YouTube.
Has anyone ever made a good DSP wired headphone? The N90Q was actually pretty decent. It also sold horribly.
Again, the issue with AKG has never... Well, they still make kind of middling products, but it's always the marketing that's the issue.
Well, the N90Q was not helped by the fact that it was a Quincy Jones sponsored $1,500 gold-colored wired ANC.
Dusk default DSP.
That's not a headphone.
It's true.
I am, but it's true. I think the thing is, nobody really sees a point to making a wired DSP headphone. Like, at the point where you're doing that, you already have almost everything you need for wireless, so why not just finish it?
So honestly, I feel like a wired DSP headphone that's open back would actually do really well in the pro market. Um, like for the same reason that like they
Probably true.
tried to make like MM100 a thing. Like
Is the MM100 not a thing?
It's not a good
Well, no,
thing.
but I don't think its penetration has been as good as it could have been. Um, Shut up. No, but you know what I mean. Like I feel like the engineer traveling in hotel rooms wants something portable, but that sounds good. Just plug it in and go. I feel like it actually makes a lot of sense for a wired like
So your view is
DSP.
that the MM100 was unsuccessful in penetrating engineers in hotel rooms.
It's just not. I don't think there's enough
It
engineers
was
in hotel
horrible.
rooms for that to be penetrating them, and it's just not like I don't. If you're gonna
Yeah,
make a headphone for a
it's like
given market, I don't know why, you would pick that one.
well, it's just that interface headphone outputs are so bad too that like if there were a way for people to get around that, the thing is most pro people don't even know headphone outputs on interfaces are bad. They don't know enough to know any of this or think about it. So
And
no, maybe you're
to
right.
be fair, they like why should they, right? Like that's
Driver
Because I mean,
swappable
because
headphones done seriously. Do you mean like replaceable for repairs or for?
no. Wasn't there a thing on Reddit recently where a guy was showing that he had these different drivers in these little enclosures and he was like hot swapping them?
Well, yeah, I mean that's been a thing for a while. I made that forever ago, but it was horrible.
I don't even know how you would make that not horrible. Like legitimately,
Well, I mean you could make all the drivers have very similar TS parameters.
yes, but then what's the point?
Well, the point is
Well,
selling things.
yeah. But
Oh,
like,
true.
so my thought would be, why wouldn't you just stick with one
Driver
driver?
subscription.
No, I was just thinking why wouldn't you just stick with the one driver that's actually good though? I don't know why you would need to try different, because presumably one would it would be tuned with one of them in mind, and then everything else would be inferior somehow.
I actually don't know that that's a safe presumption.
You're
Well,
probably right.
yeah, with
You're
past
probably right.
modular headphones, they basically just sort of gave you a random amalgam of parts.
Right.
Hell
And then
yeah.
And allowed you to make several different, very distinct abominations with them. I mean, like that is what II did, but is II even still in business?
I don't know.
Great question. If they are, that's kind of sad.
Apparently so.
Man.
So yes, you can currently buy that, Daniel Barry. It's the III TMA2.
Okay.
Have y'all seen the guy on Reddit?
That marks the only time we're allowed to recommend this headphone on this stream.
Have you guys seen the guy on Reddit who made the close back with foam devil horns that act?
Oh yeah, Pud.
Yeah, that
Pud.
guy's hilarious.
We know Pud.
I love his stuff.
I like Pud.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all met him at the show.
Oh, he's such a sweetheart in person too.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. Yeah, and I think it's funny that like I've not seen anyone really just like completely just own Reddit every time they post.
He does consistently.
Yeah. He's very good about just completely monopolizing Reddit for the day he posts, and it's like the only thing people are talking about.
Yeah.
Smart guy. Funny guy.
Yeah.
All of those ideas are absolutely batshit, but they're fun.
Yeah. He's currently working on another one.
Which one?
Because I've heard about it.
We can't spoil it, yeah.
Yeah, that would mess with his fucking exposure.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, no, he is definitely committed to the bit.
Yeah. We should probably end the stream soon. Is there any other topics that you got? Because I need to sleep.
That's reasonable. I actually have to get going here anyway. I got to drive home.
Okay. But you did so well here because your internet was better.
Yeah.
My internet will be better at home too.
You should live at your sister's house full time.
All you know.
My sister's house is beautiful.
Out of all of our technical issues, yours has been
room. Yeah, no. So it was just my Wi-Fi. So I got an Ethernet cable, and I tested it, and it like
Ethernet cable.
Well, a Cat 5 to USB-C cable, so I could plug it directly into
Ethernet.
What the is it?
It's ethereal.
I hate you guys so much. And that's the thing. If you got the make fun of Griffin bingo, you probably had that a while ago.
Ether.
Yeah.
Probably had that 20 minutes into the stream.
Wait, oh no, yeah, I had that very early on. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I got that cable and it dramatically improved my internet connection, obviously. So we should be good for next time.
So
and the camera is also better on this laptop.
It's quite good. Yeah.
My now broken laptop.
Yeah. Nice.
The chat is also making fun of you.
The Aether.
Ethernet.
Well, to be fair, it is E, and that's one of the reasons that it drives me nuts when people pronounce Dan's stuff as like the Aeon or whatever, because it's
Eon.
It is spelled the way that we would pronounce Eon, the way that you'd spell Eon using like that stupid Middle English diphthong.
Okay.
The AE?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a diphthong?
I think it is. Isn't that the only reason we make conjoined vowels?
No, I think you're thinking of a ligature.
Am I?
Combination of two vowels in a single. Oh no, I think you're right.
I don't care.
I was going to say, that was something my mother was really anal retentive about as a kid, so I was going to be shocked if I didn't remember what a diphthong was.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, in retrospect, something that was very odd for my mother to be anal retentive about when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm sure you had a wild childhood. All right. On that,
I mean, what else ends you up like this? Oh, wait, we have one hot take from the chat that I saw way earlier.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Someone said, hot take, Pentagon taking over everything is better. XLR sucked. Or something to that effect. Actually, no, it wasn't quite that harsh.
I think we've gone over that. That should be on our bingo card.
I'm just saying, it's good. Pentacon is a good idea.
For things that are already balanced and need to have a balanced connection.
If I had,
sure.
if
I'm not
I think it should be for everything.
If everything had Pentacon outputs, sure, but it doesn't.
Yes. No, but everything should. It's good for a number of reasons.
I would take Pentacon over 4-pin XLR.
Yeah, I would too.
I just don't like. I just don't like a lot of. So like when I opened my 660S2 for review, it had a Pentagon cable stock.
Yeah. And you're like,
which was annoying.
Yeah.
Okay,
because I thought there was no 3.5 millimeter, and I was about to lose my shit because that happens with IEM sometime where you open it up and it's only a 4.4. I'm like,
okay, but that's how it should be. We should
with an IEM
transition. Yes, we should, because
with an IEM, I do not need that much power, Blaine.
It's not about the power; it's about the fact that 3.5 will fucking snap if you look at it wrong.
I've never snapped 3.5 millimeter.
I have snaps like 4.
You make fun of me for complaining about, like the fucking Sesvara unveiled shit because I'm somebody who happens to have metal shavings lying around. I've never once snapped
but that's okay. But
a 3.5 millimeter.
You should be made fun of a little bit for having
you should be made
bending 3.5 millimeter cables. Like just
if you have never seen a severely bent or otherwise damaged mini jack, then
no, you know what? I've seen like cheap aux cables get fucked up,
but like
real quick.
How many of these are you just sitting there like?
I mean, it's not like it's a deliberate action. See, the chat is on my side.
Jesus! Like, what are you doing? You wrestling cattle?
We really know.
Can make fun of you
really
guys
know
for
we're in the shit when Blaine is garnering the approval of chat.
That's true.
4-pin XLR is loved by those that plug and unplug to avoid shorts. Any device should be safe to hot plug. If it's not safe to hot plug, it deserves to die by being hot plugged. Nice. That's my take.
Nice.
Okay, I think we can all agree anything but 2.5, as Nick says.
I've never even broken 2.5s.
Okay, well, this is...
Yeah, but like, it's not even about breaking it at that point. It's just, it's so small and dinky.
It's fiddly. It's terrible. The 2.5 is a terrible jack.
Yeah.
I have never
always
seen
had
2.5.
All right, well.
I feel like you could bend 4.4. Hobby Talk, you don't need to flex your guns like that on us.
it's just his fingers. He's like...
Dude, just fucking biting into a 1/4 inch and bending it.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with Pentacon if amplifiers are manufactured with Pentacon outs. Right.
I think that really everything... I've been sort of... Because I've been working on amps lately, I've been flipping this over in my head, but I really actually think probably everything should have a Pentacon connector.
Mm-hmm.
They're really not that expensive anymore, and
So you think my MacBook laptop should have a Pentacon connector on it instead of a 3.5 millimeter?
I'm pretty sure that's thicker than the laptop.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, that's why I don't like Pentacon.
Because you use your MacBook output.
Yeah, and that's why it would only ever work as like something for, the people with the brainworms, the niche
yes,
people.
It is only for... But the thing is, amplifiers and headphones are only for people with brainworms. People without brainworms don't buy wired headphones anymore.
I mean, look, I run an HD 800 out of my MacBook.
Yeah, but that's already half brainworms. You just need to get the other half of the...
The real secret is I have double the brainworms, and I went down the whole amplifier rabbit hole and then sold it all.
Yep.
I have a hot take.
What's your hot take?
I am thankful for the brainworms.
That is a hot take.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
No, for real. As I am thankful for the brainworms because
what?
Without the brainworms, I would never have been able to meet such wonderful and enjoyable people to talk to as you.
Aww.
Okay,
so I
Andrew
can
being
my
earnest
brain
is
affliction for
uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, fuck that. No, my real reasoning is because it's led me down a path to be able to enjoy headphones like these, which I do prefer over the Bose, whatever, the Sony XM4s and all that stuff, right? Like, I feel like if I didn't have the brainworms, I would just use, or like gamer headsets that ultimately are not yielding as good of an experience. So I am thankful for the brainworms for that reason. Y'all can get fucked.
Yeah. I mean, thanks. No, I mean, I think that I think the thing is, we just need to abandon the pretense that we're not insane.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I advocate for Pentacon. Because Pentacon is embracing... This isn't normal. This is for freaks. You all out there in the audience are freaks. We're freaks who are talking to freaks. And none of us are integrated into normal society, really.
Yeah, I mean, speak for yourself. I'm perfectly well-adjusted, normal dude.
See, this is someone who hasn't accepted their brainworms. Yes, this is someone who hasn't accepted it.
So that's why you keep getting sick. Yeah, that's why we need to accept the Pentacon. It's because that symbolically rejects normality.
Is the Pentacon gonna have? Okay, I'm not. There's a joke in there about the Pentacon having sufficient penetration.
It is ribbed.
Okay. On that terrible disappointment, we really need to end. Jesus Christ. Thanks to everybody for joining us in the chat. I apologize for some of the technical issues that we had earlier. Thanks to Blaine and Griffin, of course. And as always, big thanks to headphones.com for making all of this possible. For giving us jobs.
And as always, shouts out to Ping GG for setting up the stream today.
Yep.
Want to apologize for Andrew being a little
for Andrew slandering them because of his tech issues.
Big shouts out.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you guys.
And I'm sorry for calling you guys freaks. You are, but I shouldn't have said it.
All right.
Bye.